And here they come. Orangutan RVK के लिए यहाँ शोर हो रहा है, यहाँ नारे लग रहे हैं. And here comes the superstar Aziz. Orangutan, जैसा कहा, they have been pretty much untested as far as the split 2 playoffs are concerned, and Reckoning knows that. Led by Antidote, the IGL, the captain, the leader. ये दुआ मानते हुए और ये जानते हैं what a massive opportunity they have in front of them. Following Antidote is Raw Fuel. There's a lot of noise here on our sets, and last but not the least comes the man called Tesseract. He's smiling. Will he be smiling at the end of it all? And of course, इनके कोच ओरंगुटान की ये आर्मी क्या आज यहाँ से निकलने वाली है ट्रॉफी लेकर? They're not going to stop, because they know that they're going to cheer them on till they don't lift that trophy. But who are they up against? It's been a dream run for this team, and they are up against the best team in the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring on Reckoning! Reckoning, ये कमाल का रन रहा है इस टीम के लिए. बहुत सारे ऐसे टूर्नामेंट फेवरेट्स थे जिनको इन्होंने हराया, and आज it'll be a huge exclamation mark if Reckoning is able to win this trophy. जो वोया की परफॉर्मेंस हमने देखी है पिछले कुछ मैचेस में, that has been the difference maker. But Harsh, with that little heart sign, आज दिल भी इनके साथ होगा और शायद दुआएं भी. लेकिन now comes Deadly, and it is amazing to see OG's fan army also applauding the effort of Reckoning, of what they have seen. And here comes Slab, and a huge cheer goes up for the man. And now their coach, the man who has led Reckoning from behind the scenes, but he's been pretty much instrumental in making sure that they reach the finals. Right, time now to get into the conversation, the pre-match hype. Can we call Anti and Harsh right down to the middle? आ जाओ. आज ट्रॉफी है तो कैमरा इस तरफ रहेगा तो यहाँ देखेंगे. Listen man, you guys have stormed into the finals. हम बार बार ये बोल रहे हैं, pretty much untested. यहाँ लोग आपको मैच छोड़ो, मैप पे नहीं हरा पा रहे हैं. Do you want to say something to all those people who have come here to cheer you on, especially with the kind of performance that you put?
I mean, definitely a boost. And ये लोग बहुत, you know, I said before कि ओरंगुटान सिर्फ 5 बंदे सर्वर के अंदर नहीं है. ओरंगुटान पूरा आर्मी है जो साथ में खेलने आया, साथ में जीतने आया. So I think this is a moral boost for all the players and everyone, and I hope कि हम लोग और अच्छा खेलें और उनको उनके साथ खुशी और मनाएं.
हर्ष, ओरंगुटान की हमने परफॉर्मेंस देखी है, लेकिन तुम लोगों की जो परफॉर्मेंस है, इट्स बिन नथिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ अ सिंडरेला रन. लोअर ब्रैकेट्स में गए, बहुत सारी ऐसी फेवरेट टीम्स थी जिनको तुमने शॉक किया है और अब तुम फाइनल तक पहुंचे हो. इन कुछ तो अच्छा किया होगा.
यस, ऑब्वियसली हम लोग का जो जर्नी है प्लेऑफ्स का, पहला मैच हम लोग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के सामने हारे थे, और उसके बाद जो हम लोग का टीम का मेंटालिटी है पूरा चेंज हुआ है. उसके बाद हम लोग ने जो एक मैच लेके खेले, बहुत मैं प्राउड हूँ मेरे टीम के लिए. इधर तक हम लोग पहुँचे. जो हम लोग खेलते हैं वो हम लोग खेलेंगे, वही अभी फाइनल्स में भी वही सेम खेलेंगे.
नाउ ये जब एनकाउंटर हुआ है OG वर्सेस Reckoning, जब भी मुलाकात हुई है, you guys have dominated Reckoning. रिकॉर्ड जो है वो पूरा तुम्हारे हक में है. You've met 3 times, you've beat them 3 times. आज लेकिन with the stakes being the highest, are we going to see a sense of action replay?
डेफिनेटली आई थिंक रेकनिंग भी यही चाहेगा और हम भी यही चाहेंगे कि एक अच्छा वैलोरेंट दिखा सके पूरे क्राउड को. एंड आई थिंक जो अच्छा खेलेगा, बिकॉज इट्स अ फाइनल, इट्स अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम, एंड आज के दिन में जो अच्छा खेलेगा, जो अपना नर्व कंट्रोल करके खेलेगा, वही जीतेगा.
You know, हम जब ओजी के साथ तुम्हारे मैचअप की बात कर रहे हैं, हाँ रिकॉर्ड उनके साथ है, लेकिन तुमने इन्हें मैप पे हराया भी था. अब तुमने इनको पिछले कुछ मैचेस में देखा है, इनकी परफॉर्मेंस कैसी रही है, कुछ वीकनेसेस दिखी होंगी, स्ट्रेंथ्स भी दिखी होंगी. इस बार कैसे टैकल करने का इरादा है?
लाइक मैंने तुम्हें लास्ट गेम भी बोला था जो सेम चीज़, लाइक आई डोंट केयर कि सामने वाले कैसा खेल रहे हैं. हम लोग का जो स्ट्रक्चर है, जो हम लोग डिसाइड करके आए गेम में, वही करने वाले हम. सामने क्या करेंगे क्या नहीं करेंगे वो नहीं सोचने वाले.
Okay boys, the next time I meet you, will you have the trophy in your hands?
Definitely we will try, but so definitely we'll try, we'll give 100%, and if that's enough, definitely we're going to win that, lift the trophy.
Okay, how confident? कितना आत्मविश्वास है कि आज तुम एक अपसेट करोगे और वो ट्रॉफी उठाओगे?
वो तो तुम्हें गेम में दिख जाएगा.
Woohoo! All right. Please, a little friendly spirit, but you know what? In about 10 minutes time, it's all gonna go out of the window. कहते हैं कि cliches जो हैं इसलिए cliché होते हैं क्योंकि they sound good. May the best team win for this trophy. The fight is on between Orangutan and Reckoning. Back to you boys in the studio.
The long-awaited grand finals are about to begin in a couple of moments, but indeed a Cinderella run for Reckoning Esports and the opponents, OG. It's been an absolute storming into the grand finals. Now, of course, as Antidote said, whichever team is going to be able to control the nerves and play well and show a good game of Valorant should be able to win this tournament.
That is absolutely true. When we started this tournament a few months ago, we were just here to crown the best team in the country. But instead, we ended up kicking off an arms race, which resulted in so many players from across the world coming into this region and elevating the scene to a whole new level. And today, the throne lies vacant. Orangutan are looking for ascension. Reckoning Esports are looking for redemption, and we are just one match away from crowning the best team of this nation. Put your hands together for VCSA Grand Finals, baby. Let's get this show on the road.
Exactly, even the crowd was quite electrifying, but only one problem stands in the foot of Reckoning Esports before the game even starts, is that there are a lot of chance of OG players, so that might affect the mentals of Reckoning, but hopefully they're not going to let it get to them because these guys are absolute champs. As the host mentioned, indeed it was a massive Cinderella run for them, but now this is what it really matters and comes down to. The slates are going to be cleaned up, and once again these guys are going to be starting with a complete new start, so I'm really down to see what the map video is going to look like. As I said, OG, they have made it from the upper bracket, so they're going to have the first two bans, and also they will be able to pick the first map. So with that map video itself, it seems like the stars are aligned with OG to have a good start, but you never know. Maybe Reckoning Esports can pull things back. So far, we've called Reckoning Esports the king of adaptability, but are they going to be able to adapt to the firepower of OG?
I don't think there's much adaptation that can be done against a team like this. OG tend to be stubborn, they tend to be very violent when things get down and dirty, and they are not afraid to throw the round into a state of chaos. Now, from Reckoning Esports, the team that we saw a couple months ago was a very disciplined team, but over the course of the first few games, we've seen them develop that ability to handle all the chaos. Can OG bring all of that today? Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that if you see the map veto, you already know that OG dictates which maps will be played. They essentially control the narrative of the game. All that Reckoning can do is try to stack their stronger maps before the others.
Now, I really want to know, we're seeing the first map of Haven. I want to know if Reckoning Esports is going to use the same Harbor Wiper combo, or are we going to be seeing some sort of a switch up at the last moment? But Reckoning Esports goes for the fracture. Before talking about the map selects, I also want to focus on the map bans. Lotus and Pearl being banned by OG. Now they know how strong Reckoning Esports are on the map of Lotus. They have showcased their strength on that map, not just in Split 1, even inside the Split 2. And Pearl so far for Reckoning Esports has been quite a good map, considering they're quite unpredictable on the map of Pearl. So now that these two massive maps have been banned out, that's a big sigh of relief for OG, and they can focus now on their comfort zone.
Exactly. OG have always banned Lotus, so that's been their comfort ban since since the start of time. But I was concerned about which map they will pick up next. It only comes down to which map they are least comfortable on, and it happens to be Pearl. But now that most of the bans lie in the hands of OG, Reckoning can only just hope that they are able to stack their stronger maps before the others and somehow play, because OG are the ones who dictate which maps will be selected. The first one's obviously going to be Haven. We've seen Reckoning go for quite a lot of experiments, and it seems like that Harbor Viper composition is going to come into play once again. They will try to steal this play from Loud's playbook. I just hope they're able to make it work better than it was last time.
Me too. I mean, Harbor Viper composition with a Sentinel and Initiator, nicely done. Reckoning Esports, no changes from their side. But on the other hand, OG, once again, the classic comp, nothing changed out from their side as well. As OG like to take things to the comfort zone. On the other hand, Reckoning Esports is a team that likes to adapt and come up with decisions on the fly. It's all the fight for this trophy that you're seeing in front of your screen, and also a slot for the Ascension. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first map of the grand final begins as we're gonna kick things off with a pistol. Reckoning Esports on defense and OG on attack.
OG have looked like a very phenomenal team on the attacking side. Their pace changes can be very difficult to adapt to, but considering that Reckoning Esports have the Harbor Viper composition, they should be able to dictate the pace of this game, because they have the ability to slow things down to a crawl. So if OG try to hit them hard and fast, I wonder how Reckoning Esports will react.
Oh, Deadly 10 peeks out. Oh, that's a quick tap on the skull. A nice headshot to start things off. And Reckoning Esports able to back it up instantly as well. Nicely done. Things going quite back and forth, and now Antidote as well, looking to swing back into the swing of things, but he will be deactivated as well. Reckoning Esports starting things on a great note.
They've been cut down instantly. Any attempts of showing aggression towards A-Long were futile, as Reckoning Esports, while they had a wonderful stack over here, they hit some really nutty shots which send almost everybody from OG packing. It's down to Aziz and Rafuel now, and at least they have the spike on their backs, so they can still have some hope of planting, but they will be instantly crunched. There's already two people coming in from the back lines. Meanwhile, they are yet to deal with Deadly, and here comes the flank. It's all down to Rafuel now. He's been the start of the show. He's been the start of the team, but for now, he will just be another body in the ground.
Good way to start things off, and a good way to kick this tournament off, too. Of course, the crowd's quite ready as well, and it seems like all the chairs are packed, too. So I'm loving the vibe so far. But Flabin being able to get 3 kills right off the bat and start things off on a great note. Yeah, OG, I guess the first round not the way they wanted to go, but it's completely fine. Now they're going to be forced onto an anti-eco, while the opponents are going to have the better weaponry. But as I said, recently inside VCSA playoffs, you never know, man. These anti-ecos, they've been quite unpredictable.
Oh, definitely. Especially anti-ecos when Reckoning Esports is involved. They usually are the kind of team that loses the pistol, and they are very good at stealing the momentum away in the second round. But the very opposite could happen to them as well. OG looking for a really quick plant. They just dash inside, take the Nebula, and they plant that like deep into the ground. But Boya is able to get 2 kills without even seeing his opponents. That Sixth Sense really striking hard.
Oh wow, Reckoning Esports, I don't know what they've had for breakfast today, but they're able to hit all those shots right onto the dome of the players of OG. We talked about the firepower that OG has, but so far, Reckoning Esports, they've got their aim on points, and they're looking quite crisp. Yeah, Woya, especially with that play through the walls, he was able to find those connections, and right off the bat, he was able to give a massive man advantage to his team. So yeah, no chance even stood onto that anti-eco. Now we're going to move on to the buy rounds. This is where Reckoning Esports will be truly tested.
Reckoning will indeed be tested, but if OG can pick up the pace so quickly, then I'm starting to feel concerned about this already. They literally ignored the Viper Toxin screen, they ignored all the other utility that all the other utility that Reckoning had placed over there, and they were able to plant it as well. Now imagine what would happen if OG continued to strike at such pace and back off with all their members alive as well. That would be disastrous.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now this is a disaster. Flabin scanned through the woodworks and instantly gets destroyed. Even Deadly can't do much. As he tries to peek Aziz, he will be sent packing.
There we go. The bosses once again walk on their territory. And they make a mark already as soon as the round starts. That was a really good recon in the midst, 2 players. And RVK will only be able to get 1. Vandal retrieved, and I guess Trist is now going to go for the save. It makes a lot of sense too if he actually does want to. Or he can give it a shot. Voya is all by himself on the site, so Voya needs to go for a fight no matter what. Peeks out and actually gets the first frag to OG. There is definitely a little bit of struggle being seen, but it's okay. Things are under control. Raw fuel under heaven. And Trist looking to peek out as well to the site. I really want you to focus on how much resistance Reckoning Esports is trying to show towards the site control of OG. Right off the bat, in the pistol round 2, Reckoning Esports, they went with aggression of their own to cut off the entire aggression of OG. And so far, that's what Reckoning Esports are trying to implement. Yeah, it's a different factor that it did not really work out in this round, but it's completely okay considering they didn't even have the superior weaponry.
Yeah, and the fact that they're able to get 3 kills itself is impressive enough. They need to keep the economy of OG humble. If they don't, then OG will start snowballing out of control. And it's important for Reckoning Esports to keep getting kills like these, not let OG walk away with too many weapons alive at the end of the rounds. I mean, the pressure that the crowd puts upon them itself is too much to bear. You don't want the added pressure of your wallets weighing you down as well.
Going for the spam, really close, but Rockul instead, he returns back the favor. Flavin shut down, instantly just put back into the grave, and also a nail on top of that coffin. And now Reckoning Esports left wondering how did the site was taken so quickly enough from them. Flavin, I'm pretty sure after that sort of an attempt, he's never going to go for spam once again onto that same spot, ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. This is going to leave you traumatized. What on earth was that? The round starts, the barrier drops, and OG pounce. They don't even wait to see their opponents. They start striking! And they do it again. Aziz feeling himself. Deadly and Voya at least managed to bring it back to some extent. The Seekers reveal the position of all the members of OG. But there's no utility to help cover the spike diffuser. They haven't even tapped it yet. And OG, they're calling this bluff. They don't want to peek just yet. And when they finally do, Voya will be looking in different directions. They tear them apart.
A really good piece of teamwork that OG is showing here. Good crowd duel, good timing onto that. And the way they set up that crossfire too, they knew that there's a chance that they're going to get pushed because Reckoning Esports didn't even have a choice to just play that back safe and sound. They had to make that push. Voya tried his best, but yeah, this crossfire was just perfect. RVK on the opposite did not even expect.
And OG figured out that this is going to work in the second round itself. They tried something similar, except they didn't have the firepower that time. They just planted the spike and got back. Now, they decimated everybody on their way in. They didn't even have to worry about the post plant all that much.
Oh, jump peak, so close. Oh my god. My heart just almost... Okay, well, Hirsch at least is able to get the start off. And Reckoning utilized as well to make sure that the opponents are going to be stopped in their tracks, but the Seekers from the enemies is going to be a massive problem for Reckoning Esports itself, so they're going to decide to fall back. But what a flash from Voya! He catches 3, but he only gets 1.
The Reckoning from Flavin pushes them back, and Voya's Seekers, I mean, they were already used up. But at least this time he's able to use his flashes to get another pick on the way. OG though, they're splitting up right now. While they have some presence towards Garage and the spike is also over there, Aziz is trying to make his way in from A-Link. But no, the Trailblazer will catch him. His lurk attempts will be futile.
Wow.
And Flaben, the one who kicked off this round, will also probably be the one to end his life. Reckoning are aware about... Exactly, it's crazy. They're aware about everything. They're stopping them on every step of the way.
Wow, and Wolf from the back is Trist. It's like Reckoning Esports are available on every side of the map, on every part. It's tough to know where exactly they are, but it's crazy. What I wanted you to notice is that it's crazy how much of a difference we're seeing in the playstyle of Reckoning. We've never seen them play this map like this.
Exactly, right? They usually use all the
on some part of the maps, they're being aggressive, and on some part of the maps, they're being so disciplined that they're not even peeking out. It's crazy.
Exactly, that push and pull mechanism, Reckoning has perfected that. You usually push out to either gather information or to make that play. And while you do that, the other part of the map usually remains quite passive. But this time, they're able to box OG in really quickly. They're stopping them in every step of the way. And every little step that OG takes, Reckoning know which direction it's going in.
Oh my god. Oh, really close. Actually, way too close for comfort. Tesseract, the bullet whizzes past him. And now Rawfield too looking to just open the floodgates onto the A side, but there is Flabin available. Flabin gets a little glimmer of his opponent, but he needs to expect that Rawfield's going to be moving in from the back lines, and that's what exactly is going to happen. Rawfield finds the first pick, and now is also looking to get the second one, but Voya's not going to be the one to fall in the trap. Instead, he's going to take his sweet time, playing a little defensive, and also waiting for his team to rotate on towards the A site. RVK on the opposite side, though, is still in the mid, going for the lurk around. And OG, they've got things under control, and so far, so good.
RVK basically figures out that nobody from Reckoning is coming in from the back lines, and that's why OG have tripled up on this crossfire. Not only is Rawfield holding alongside Antidote, but they also have another player towards the actual site box itself who will peek out in case something goes wrong, but in case his players are flashed out. And just like that, OG are able to stop this retake before it even begins.
The only way to counter OG is just resistance straight up. If they get the site control, it's going to be tough. If you remember, twice this happened. OG got the plant twice, and both the times they have managed to win the round. Once on the B, and now on the A site. The only way to stop is not even let them have the site control. Just straight up resist that.
Exactly.
And whenever Reckoning Esports have been able to successfully resist that, it's worked out. And something I've really noticed in the playing pattern is that OG are having a really good mixture of aggression and defense, both at the same time in one single round.
Yep, and that's mostly in response to Reckoning's varied aggression. They're really using this high ball up composition to its finest. They've got the seaside on lockdown with the entire Viper's Pit, and a lot of utility being rained down upon them from long. Basically, the entire kit of Voya is available at their disposal. And if something goes wrong, then Flabin will push his cascades through and help them get into these cheeky spots. Oh, look at them now. They're playing on the tiny gap that exists in between the Viper Toxin screen and that wall. Meanwhile, Deadly is about to push into very precarious spots. And RVK, he thinks he's alone, but little does he know that Deadly 10 has backup. He doesn't even need that backup. Instantly dealt with.
Oh, they really wanted to attack the Viper as well inside the pit because Seaside's on a complete lockdown. Hirsch is waiting on the opposite, and he also gets a lot of info. So now they need to fall back. They cannot afford to keep on moving forward to the B site. Positions compromised, and it's the enemy territory. You cannot keep on moving there, and Flabin's going to be the one to strike and knock his opponent. Nicely done. Reckoning Esports, things under control, and also looking to keep even more control in the future line, and Trist is going to help his team do so. Finds Antidote. One more to go, and the spam will seal the deal. Reckoning Esports. So far, the defense that they're showing is absolutely immaculate.
Exactly, and they're manipulating OG into throwing their advantages away. They have the Viper's Pit locked down on C, and that's exactly why OG tried to hit the A side. But what do they see over there? 3 members of Reckoning Esports just pushing them back with all sorts of flashes, animals, and water walls. Plus then the push that Deadly 10 made basically killed RVK. No smokes available. And because of that, OG were starting to run out of options. The only viable place left for them to go was Garage, and that too was being marked really well. Reckoning Esports are basically manipulating which directions OG can and cannot go in.
Reckoning Esports, they're ready for this matchup. I'm loving the fact the amount of research this team has done. It's being put to work, and it's working pretty nicely so far. 4-3, the scoreline's quite tight. And for OG to find any sort of a gap in between the defense of Reckoning Esports is getting a little tough as the rounds keep on passing by. And the way Reckoning Esports is also able to know exactly what OG wants to bring on the table. Now, what Reckoning Esports have realized in OG's past game is that OG likes to isolate these duels. But at the same time, they're not afraid to take a one-on-one duel against the opponents. So they probably know that there's always going to be one player who would try to go for an early duel against them. That's why they're peaking out at least 2 players at the same time on some part of the map. You can see them always. There's at least 2 players peeking out at the same time on some part of the map because they want to get an early advantage against OG.
Exactly, and even if they know that OG are comfortable peeking one by one, they're also aware of the fact that one of them could easily turn into the lurker at any point. Like, for example, right now you've got the Astra RVK trying to make presence on C, and while on C side he can be considered as the entry fragger, he will turn into the lurker while his team tries to go towards A. So those interchangeable roles that OG bring to the table are also very, very nice. For now, OG aren't keeping their position towards A a secret. They're giving away sound cues. Plus, Reckoning have found out quite a lot of information. So this impending execute, it can be seen coming from a mile away, and Voya's prepared for this one. Rofuel had a flash to assist him into the dash in, but he was dealt with instantly. Now let's see whether Reckoning respect this lockdown or not.
Yep.
They do respect it, but I think they will try to get a kill or two via heaven.
Maybe they will, and yeah, that's what exactly happens. Voya able to find one, and already the man advantage is stacked with the players of OG, considering the opponents don't have the superior weaponry. OG will need to make sure that they're going to be stopping themselves in the track and now play for the post-plant position in quite a disciplined manner, because they've got one Stinger and one Sheriff, and that can only be worked effectively if used nicely enough in the close quarters. And as soon as one of the player peeks out, he gets dealt with, and Tesseract was able to find one of his own, but not much, because Flabben's going to seal the deal on both the players. Nicely done. Reckoning Esports, now they've got a 2-rounds lead.
Jeez, Reckoning Esports are really good at just fragmenting all of these fights. They use the high tide to cut across the entire site. Everyone south of that default planting box was just simply irrelevant in that fight. They were not present. And that's what allowed Reckoning Esports to break that crossfire between the Graffiti and the Hell players so easily. I mean, they knew for a fact that somebody from OG is going to be playing in Hell behind that tiny gap in between the Cosmic Divide. So they were prepared over there with the shorties as well.
Yeah, and I really want you to notice, I'm really sorry to cut you off, but and one more thing that Reckoning Esports did was they did not peek out in the previous round at all. They did not go aggressive because they knew that the previous round was an eco round for the opponents. That means they're going to have Sheriff in the hand. The only way to find advantage with Sheriff and eco rounds is to go for straight up aim duels, and Reckoning Esports did not gift those. But as soon as I say that, this time they're trying to make a double man push, but it gets countered single-handedly by RVK.
And that man is the real difference maker. Like I said, he expected some push from Reckoning in some part of the map. And like you rightfully pointed out, Reckoning Esports didn't go for that push in the previous round, so they had to go for it in the buy round. And OG saw it coming from a mile away. This time they've already placed the lockdown and the high tide as well, so this really makes the job of OG difficult while entering this site. But the bigger question over here is, will they continue entering A or will they go elsewhere? Now Reckoning Esports are going to be in two minds. Have they done enough to push OG off? They don't know for sure yet, and that's exactly why they're going on this reconnaissance mission. They want some information, but they end up getting much more than that. They end up getting a kill. Rofiel instantly retaliates. He loses his teammates towards a shot, but look at how deep he is now. He's all the way towards defender spawn.
Oh my god, Trist is waiting for the players to flow out a window. He gets one, but he's completely fine. He's done his job, and nicely done too. So much information now acquired, and Reckoning Esports knows exactly what type of places the players of OG might just be positioned. They know the exact placement off the chase board. And that's what they're going to try to play around. But I still like the adjustment on the fly that OG came up with. They've left Rofuel on the B side to cut off the rotation. But Rofuel now has already got the information that there's a man from the defender spawn closing in. And that's why you see Tesseract holding that angle. He's inside the garage area. Not peeking out just yet. Keeping his position unknown. Just make sure that he wants to catch the players of Reckoning Esports off guard, and a good tap onto the skull. Nicely done, able to isolate that duel, and now it's all down to Hirsch. He gets spammed through the box.
Gets revealed with the recon, and he gets instantly spammed out. What an adjustment from OG. Probably one of the riskiest adjustments, I would say. Rofuel dash into the defender's spawn entrance? Who in their right minds would do that, especially when the rest of the team isn't following up behind you? The rest of his players went elsewhere. They went all the way around from attacking spawn, straight towards the garage area, and then C. And that's exactly why Reckoning Esports also weren't able to find anything. To have Rofuel go all the way from A link towards B and hold there in case someone comes lurking around is nuts, especially when the spike is planted towards the C side. A very risky adjustment, but hey, you know what they say, fortune favors the bold, and right now OG are the epitome of boldness.
I've got your trail.
Two players stacked onto A. A little bit of change. They've left the complete B side onto a retake, as it's just on the KG util. Nicely done. Nanostorm activated at the right time, so Rofuel might just be catching a little bit of damage. Yeah, he's softened up. For Rofuel to get out of that position is going to be a tough task. It does catch a bit of hurt onto himself, but still is able to get back to safety. RVK caught from the back, and Trist is always able to find some someone or the other with the flanks that he's able to get. And now Reckoning Esports, so far they've managed to get their foot on the B site, but they still need to get rid of the players in the front, and they're somehow able to connect all the shots. And now Rawfield returns back, but Flabben's gonna be more than enough to shut that man down. Antidote outside the grass area. He gets the first one, but now he needs to deal with Deadly 10s up. That is going to be quite deadly.
They got lost in the soup, man. Reckoning Esports have figured out that RVK loves holding outside of C. And with this information, I guess they will probably try to target him again and again. Harsh, though, he had to really take a risky peek against him to fight RVK. Like, that is not easy. Trist, too. The way these guys are holding is incredible. And the toxin screen that's been put up by Trist, it really helps OG to get into that retake. It really helps Reckoning to get into that retake situation. OG really can't see anything, especially when the toxin screen is up. RVK this time.
Wow.
See, that's exactly why I said, while he continues to push towards C, he keeps on changing in between the lurk and the entry fragment roll. He was the one leading the charge, but now it will be Rawfield who's looking to dash out. So far, he's being held back by all the poison that Trist is dumping at them. And look at the flank from Reckoning already.
Oh, wow. They line up, too. Trist has done such a great job in delaying the entire push, but Tesseract flank was not expected. So OG still somehow able to find these little cracks into the wall of the defense of Reckoning.
Oh my goodness, they're not cracks in the wall. The entire wall is being obliterated itself. Both the teams trying to one-up each other in terms of lurking. The aggro push from RVK was spotted already, and that's why Reckoning made the adjustments. And OG knew that getting into the site will be difficult, especially when Trist is laying down snake bites on their feet. So they tried to make a play via Garage, and Tesseract's flank actually worked out really well. He got 2, but little did they know that Reckoning also had a flank of their own coming in. They were pushing out of the A lobby literally 10 seconds into the round, and they had OG surrounded. Instantly shoot them in the back, and that drops the spike on the mouth of Garage, making it nearly impossible for recover.
As they say, hard work pays off, and it seems like Reckoning Esports definitely has put in a lot of works to read into exactly how OG likes to play their cards. And that's what's happening. So far, the trades are happening back and forth, and as you can see, Trist is being taken down, an antidote from the side of OG. Both the teams have lost 1-1 each. And this plant goes down too. As I said, if OG's going to have the site control, it's going to be next to impossible to get the site control back in your hands. But you never know. If Reckoning Esports is able to isolate these duels nicely enough, then it should be a date with Destiny.
Well, for now, Trist will not have his say of Destiny. Flab and Harsh also looking to make an impact.
No.
But this flank coming in from Aziz, it can be disastrous. They can't even hear it because of the Cosmic Divide. And if that wasn't enough, the Hunter's Fury would have sealed the deal. Reckoning Esports, they do take the lead, but OG are able to bring it back to 7-5.
Reckoning Esports, indeed, they have got a massive crowd favoring them, but it seems like it's not affecting the players of Reckoning at all. OG, all the chants in their favor, but Reckoning Esports performing well enough inside the game to make sure, at least trying their best to suppress all those chants, and they've done a great job so far. But still, OG being able to find those little cracks in the defense of Reckoning Esports was causing a bit of issues for them, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure soon enough, in the attacking side of Reckoning Esports, they should be able to do the same as well. Reckoning Esports, when it comes to the amount of firepower they're putting inside the game, they're looking quite incredible. And I'm loving the pace of the game so far.
Same, even I'm loving the pace of the game so far. The way both these teams are just adjusting to each other, constantly one-upping and taking those risky peaks, doing moves that they haven't done in previous matches before, it is absolutely immaculate. It's incredible to watch. We'll be back with the second half after this short break. Do not go anywhere because these teams are performing out of their minds right now.
Hit for my wings, I need my head. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
Bro, फ्रिज मीट के लिए, हीट के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to game.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z, or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Now, you guys saw the first half, 7-5 in the favor of Reckoning Esports. Definitely not the results that we expected, but yeah, it is what it is. Reckoning Esports have done an immaculate job so far. The amount of hard works they have been putting in inside the entire tournament, from the lower bracket now till the grand finals, it seems like everything's paying off for them. And even for them, it seems like the stars that were aligned in the favor of OG, even though despite all the odds were stacked against them, they're still able to fight against the odds.
They fight against the odds, they fight against everything, and I think for the first time in a very long time, OG are facing enough where they do not have the advantage. I think this is the first time someone's overtaken them in the first half itself, so yeah, kudos to Reckoning, but let's see if they can keep this lead up or not. For now, they're using all that they can to pressure Antidote, and he cannot escape. Bitten, flashed, and cut off by the water from his teammates. OG make a bold push out of the high tide. They catch everybody from Reckoning off guard, and it's up to Harsh somehow to make his way into the site, and he's able to shoot his way to success. But still, Tesseract has been quite successful in clutching, but not today.
How did they pull that back? I thought OG had it under control. But then these final two glimmers of hope, these two big pillars that they have, they turn the tide in their favor. What a play, man. Reckoning Esports able to win the second pistol round of the game. Look at this. OG started off with a three-man advantage. And then Reckoning Esports, Tristan Hirsch, these two guys single-handedly flipped the table, flipped the script in the face of OG, and they won that pistol round too. You can see the face of the coach of OG. He clearly knows how valuable that round was for them.
Absolutely valuable. This might just give them the ability to reach double digits much before OG can catch up. And now they know that OG is on an eco, so they will also try to take their sweet time, avoid walking into any of these traps. Antidote making first contact. He's seen them fall back from C right now, and he should be able to relay the information about the A hit. But will Rofiel be able to act on that information? I don't think so.
19 HP only, man. Not looking that great. And now, as this anti-eco continues, Reckoning Esports, of course, having all the advantage so far. The attacking side, Reckoning Esports, they're able to breach on the site perfectly enough, but if OG are going to hit shots like that, then things are going to get even more complicated. RVK looking to breach in from that wall. As soon as he does that, he gets met with a lot of bullets. Another good flash from the side of Reckoning Esports, and that's going to give them the site confirmation. Nicely done. Defense, which I mean the post plants, played perfectly from Reckoning. Even the Reckoning supporters are quite a lot. So yeah, an electrifying moment indeed in the history of South Asia. These two teams, legendary teams, meet against each other. The Wolves versus the Apes. And so far, the Wolves have got their advantage.
If it's Wolves and Apes, you know this game is gonna be wild.
Wildlife.
Probably fit in a National Geographic joke in there somewhere. But I'm glad to see that even the Reckoning fans are starting to make some noise over here. It can be quite overwhelming to go up against the loud OG crowd. Here comes Deadly, dashing in. Deathstrike was prepared for this one. The recon now doesn't reveal all that much, but that's okay because OG don't need any of that information. As they cut off the tip of the spear, they send the rest of them packing towards garage, and Enrique sends them packing back to spawn.
Well, I guess that's how quick it was for OG to once again turn the tide in their favors, but considering it was just a bonus round for the opponents, you can't really say a lot, but OG's crowd, man, it's hard for me to even hear my own words. That's how loud they are. Imagine the arena right now. It's going to be shaking with the amount of these apes are making.
It's not too late, ladies and gentlemen. You can always go ahead to bookmyshow.com and get to the arena. It's just the first map. It's going to be a long best-of-5 series. You can still make it over there if you're in Delhi.
Yeah, if you're in Delhi, though. If you're somewhere else, then yeah, you guys have missed the opportunity. Oh, what a quick flick. Rafiel once again. Yeah, once again, a fiery start for OG.
Another one could be on the cards over here. They know that Rawfield's over here, so they will do their best to avoid the operator. That's exactly why Trist is trying to make a play that RVK was always making. To stay on the edge of C and look for opportunities.
Enemy tag.
For now, they're just looking for information. The drone does get one tag, and that's a little bit of information it reveals. But I'm pretty sure that OG can still smell the Reckoning esports players around them. They're doing their best with Aziz's utility to figure out whether they've fallen back or not. And RVK knows that there could be a potential C hit coming, and he won't be able to hold it by himself. So it's best that he gives up the site and regroups with his team for the retake. Of course, they have the man advantage going into the retake, so it shouldn't be a problem for OG.
Spike planted.
Spikes planted 2-9-6 the scoreline. Both the teams are now going to start to feel the nerves, and look at the flank from her. She's on the lurking point, but really good recon dart just to make sure that the opponent's not going to be outside. But Hirsch was waiting for him, and is also going to be able to knock on the doors with a lot of threat now available for the players of OG. Going for random spams. The defuser's being stuck as well, made it all the way to the halfway. And Reckoning Esports, now they will need to make it clear enough, bold enough against the players of OG, and Flapper single-handedly, he takes all of them down one after the other. Shots not connecting, but in the end, it's okay. Raw Fuel's going to be in the back. They sweep it under the rug. Nicely done, and also maybe a free operator if they want to pick up, but a lot of those times, people don't really pick up ops on the attacking side. But hey, who are we seeing? Sukumal in the crowd as well, and he's actually supporting Reckoning Esports. You love to see it.
He's always been one to root for the underdogs. Orangutan, like the trivia suggests, they are yet to lose a map in VCSA Split 2, and this might just be their first loss. A very uncomfortable loss. Not the right way to start the finals. And Reckoning had their win conditions very, very active. They knew that Twist will just be able to hold down the defuser with the snake bites, and Harsh was acting like the X Factor. He was the one who gave up his own life and tried to make the lives of OG uncomfortable in that post-plan situation.
Time to hunt.
For now, though, Harsh can't make any of those plays. His teammates will have to lead the charge, and Trailblazer that's being used by Aziz, it doesn't really spot too much, but still, OG know that Reckoning are right around the corner.
I suggest you move.
Reckoning used, and now OG will be forced out of sight. A free site control in the taking for Reckoning, but look at Aziz, he's still on top of the side, and at least he gets traded out, so that's a good news for Reckoning. But there's Rafiel on the opposite side as well, only down to 15 HP, but Hirsch once again from the back scoops them up. And Reckoning, out of nowhere, they've got the site control, and with only 3 up, OG with only 2 players don't exactly know what the game plan's going to look like for them, considering now there's also a lockdown being initiated. So OG now will need to fall back and respect that, and probably will go for the save too. Nicely done by Reckoning all the time, able to force out the players of OG. And so far, none of us expected this, but this game is looking like a one-sided affair.
And OG just simply don't know how to hold on to these sides. I mean, they had all the information. They knew that Reckoning are going to commit to this ace site. And yet they can't really do much. Whenever Rafiel tries to make a play of some sorts, he has to jump through so much utility, jump through so many of these walls. He just simply doesn't get to peek comfortably. And if that's not enough, the Harbor ultimate makes it nearly impossible for OG to continue holding angles or maintaining crossfires. They're doomed if they stay, they're doomed if they leave. Reckoning on making them run out of options.
Hear the chants.
And the arena.
Yeah.
It devolves down into a contest of chanting louder.
I'm having goosebumps.
I swear, dude, I wish I was there.
Me too, man. It would have been such a fun affair if we were over there too. But it's okay, we're still having a lot of fun casting these grand finals. A moment that we all were waiting for, but so far we're seeing quite an astonishing result. I mean, hey, my pick is Reckoning Esports.
And this is the map pick of OG. They had the opportunity to ban 2 maps and have the first pick as well. So they had their lay of the land, but now Reckoning Esports are laying down the law. Knocking on the doors of B once again. This is gonna be a fast hit, but it's not a full-blown commitment from all the players. There's still 2 players holding back. Aziz gets stunned, bit by the Trailblazer. It's Rawfield who somehow comes to the rescue, but he can't do anything. The post plant, it will not be here yet. The Hunt's Fury was thrown in just to make sure that Reckoning Esports don't get the opportunity to plant that spike, but they are in no hurry to do so.
The only reason why OG are getting caught off guard is because they're so used to making wild plays like that. You saw Rafu just straight up dashing in the side. Even AZ's just still staying quite adamant to resist that side control. All by himself he was there. It's because for OG, those type of plays have always worked out. But this time against Reckoning Esports, it's not actually. Because Reckoning Esports, whenever they're going, wherever they're going, they're always going with a pack. They at least have someone else back in each other's back. And that's why OG never able to do anything against any player of Reckoning Esports so far. Only if they're able to find isolated duel, that's when Reckoning Esports are sort of falling shy. But still, to find those isolated duels, it's really tough against Reckoning with the play they're playing so far.
Reckoning Esports having never experienced the comfort of an upper bracket match, never having experienced the second chance opportunity available to them. And then on the other hand, you have OG. They've never faced the hardships of the lower bracket. And when these two teams who've been forged in different kinds of environments face against each other, you could really see why going through that lower bracket is helping out Reckoning Esports. They've had to adapt and reinvent themselves so often against every single opponent. Finding out how OG works is basically second nature to them now.
Voya with the Seekers and Deadly 10 with the Blade Storm. They're looking to put an end to this entire first map. And OG so far, they're struggling to even get a single round win on the second half so far.
I've got your trail.
A really good way to take the main control, and now Tesseract will need to respect that. First time you see the players of OG not exactly going for a straight-up duel, but what a shot from Deadly. Once again, a great way to open things off, and now Tesseract's going to tuck himself too short, but still, so far, Reckoning Esports, they haven't really moved in deep yet. Instead, they're going to decide to fall back. That was a little fake presence, and they've also managed to pull away a rotation. Hurst gets the second frag, and Tesseract out of the board as well. Big threat neutralized. AZ's and Tesseract out the gate, and now one more to go in the name of Rawfield, who can put in a lot of work.
At first instance, OG are thrown into a sense of panic as they start losing all their members. And then to figure out whether their opponents are really hurt or not, they try to go ahead and find information, again getting punished in the process. And just like that, OG are being pushed and pulled into different directions. They are being thrown out of their comfort zones into the deep end of the pool where they will most likely drown, crumbling under the weight of all the pressure the Reckoning put upon them. The unlikely contenders step up. The team that has gone through the lower bracket now giving OG their first map loss in the entirety of Split 2.
Wow, I'm so happy for Reckoning Esports. The start they've had in the grand final so far. The first map being able to win so one-sided. And OG, that's the first map they've dropped inside Split 2, ladies and gentlemen. and not the place where you wanted to drop a map inside the grand finals itself. So yeah, now OG, the panic's gonna start to settle in as they are gonna start to feel their nerves as soon as this tournament keeps on progressing on. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is quite electrifying and I'm quite excited, but you know what, now it's time for us to push to a short break, so we'll be right back.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Feeling under pressure.
Considering this maps do favor the attacking side quite a lot, OG needs to go a little aggressive and find that information quickly enough for exactly the hits coming true. They've also got rid of one of the trap wires from Arcade, so this should be a free flow for the players of Reckoning Esports, and that's what exactly is going to happen. Now it's all going to come down to the post plants, but the frenzy in the close is striking the players down. A good trade though, Tesseract able to get things back under control into his teams, and now it's a 4-on-4. RVK looking to close the distance, but is soon enough going to get met with a lot of resistance, and that's what happens. Flabin takes him down in the close quarters.
No, but they're still not afraid of backing off. Flabin continues to push the envelope, and Voya gets the timing down to perfection. Tesseract was looking to set his teammates up for success, but now there's no teammates left to support, so it's all up to him. Him and his capable bionic arms. He knows where Voya is, but he's yet to find Harsh. And now with the fault line, he can probably figure out where he would be, but none of them are actually looking to face him. They creep and crawl around him, they surround him, and Reckoning take the pistol win once again.
These micro plays that Reckoning have, it's really just boggling the players of OG. You saw that in the end too. First Voya peeks out, and then Hirsch from the long once again peeks out. Those micro plays within the big plays are something that's really keeping the players of Reckoning Esports ahead of the players of OG. While OG, as I said, they're one of those teams that likes to keep things simple. And so far, that simpleness isn't really working out. They will need to start complicating things up and adapt this time at least once to Reckoning Esports. Oh, wow.
Uh-oh. I don't think this is the right adaptation they required. It's a fast beat crunch once again.
What?
And OG are getting so many kills through the gaps in the smokes. They love doing this now, don't they? And Tesseract pushes out of the smokes. Okay, I knew they were adventurous, but not this adventurous.
Oh my god.
Will he be checked? He might just get the timing down to perfection, but he makes one sound cue, and his position's driven away. And even though his opponents were staring down at him, he can still win the duel. Warrior has to tank that paint shell, has to isolate the fight, and he does it with the curvature of the smoke. Antidote now has to find him once again, and he's able to get them all. The smoke criminal activates his buff, and there are no handcuffs that can hold him down.
The smoke criminal indeed. Just moving through the smokes and playing like a champ. Peeking out from two different sides and keeping that anonymity at the same time. And Reckoning Esports able to get that round in the hand. Nicely done. Voya not missing a single shot. Too crisp with his aim. And able to clutch things and bring things back in his team's favor. Once again, Reckoning Esports at least being able to win that round, but still they're going to go for a bonus, as they've only got one Vandal on the board for themselves. It's a hero Vandal strat. Let's see how much of a value Voya's Vandal's going to find there.
Well, it's a quick pivot towards the A site, and OG can hear this coming a mile away. They'll put down the mollies, they'll try to buy some time, but the rest of the rotations of OG members are not here yet. They're doubling up towards Sand, which is the play for Reckoning as well. But as they try to drop out, they will drop to the floor like a sack of potatoes.
Jackass.
Tesseract is able to get quite a lot done over here, but Reckoning have somehow stabilized. Now these two players are so far away from each other, they can't have any backup. At least Antidote's low on HP, so even the first touch of the Hellfire will kill him. But he dodges it. No problems at all. And he still gets the kill. My goodness, OG. Not only do they win the buy round, but they're also able to bait out a massive ultimate from Reckoning. That's a good win.
OG's crowd is feeling themselves, man, but you can see the players, they're not too expressive. They're not showing a lot of expressions because they know them losing the first map itself, it's something the players themselves would not have expected at all, considering they also had the map veto in their hands. But now OG, they need to start taking things a little serious and pull things back into their court once again. Good stun, gonna force Aziz back. Uses a little bit of panic satchel, paint shell, but it's not gonna be able to find a lot, or not gonna be able to get done a lot of things. And OG, at least they have managed to keep the main control for themselves so far. As the players of Reckoning Esports once again looking to walk on the site. A little shoulder spotted. RVK gets rid of the player in the front. Deadly 10 not inside the game anymore. And RVK keeps on striking down the players.
OG are putting in quite a lot of resistance over here. Simply not letting Reckoning Esports take even a foot into the site. And at least in the first 2 rounds, Reckoning were able to brute force their way in towards the B side. But now that they're trying to explore all their options, that firepower and momentum just seems to be missing. It isn't missing for Tesseract, certainly. He uses his own fault line and then swings out too. Doesn't even wait for Aziz to make a move along with him. Not that he needs any of them. They are capable of taking down Reckoning by themselves. No losses.
Now they're whiffing no shots, man. Every single shot on the dot. That's what OG is able to do. So far, the buy round for them has been perfect. And now it's 2-2, ladies and gentlemen. OG able to equalize things out in their hands. And this is where Reckoning Esports 2. Now it's going to be a wake-up call for them. Flawless round 2 to, close things off there. So yeah, that's definitely good news. On the opposite side, though, Reckoning Esports, they've invested everything they've got on the board. So this round's way too crucial for them. And it's quite an interesting push as well, all the way from Arcade.
Indeed, it is a very interesting push, but it will be met with resistance. And RBK takes off the hat. Might as well take off his opponent's head with the amount of information they've got available. And he's looking to make that play once more. The flash doesn't save them at all. Twist dead to rights, and the orbital strike gets responded with a rolling thunder.
Wow.
Somehow, Voya and Flabbin still managed to make their mark. They survive all of this, and now the lockdown. It's gonna prompt them, invite them into the waiting arms. Down to 1v1. This is the opportunity Flabbin had been looking for. Spike recovered, still far away from Aziz, so he can go for that plant safely.
1v1 scenario, Aziz with 70 HP. Both the players soften up, but it's Flabbin who's quick enough on the trigger and shuts down Aziz. Nicely done. Reckoning Esports. Another round on the board for them. Once again, as soon as they realize now that their economy is in a massive trouble, they pull the round back in their court. Things are kept so tight so far at the first half, and it seems like Reckoning Esports, even though sometimes it feels like the odds were against them in this round, it's still looking pretty nice. I like that placement of the lockdown too, and that's something that really helped Voya to win that duel, because he knew that the opponent player would be sort of distracted to take down that lockdown, and Voya peeked out as soon as the crosser was on the lockdown, and yeah, this is just little 200 IQ plays that are being made.
Such a good response to all those ultimates. They thought they would drive Reckoning back, but instead, here they come, diving in. Deadly 10 goes from drop all the way to the other side of that tall box, and he gets all of these kills. And OG have been trying to make these swing outs of smokes. They found decent amount of success in the past, but this won't work now. It won't work for the second time.
Indeed it won't. Hirsch towards Dish. And now that OG, they've gotten half of the site control, but they haven't gotten the main piece of the cake yet. And that's what they're looking to take in the hand. Molly to make sure that he's denying the entire rotation from main. And here we go. The post plant's clicking to play. And Reckoning Esports out of nowhere, a flawless round. Such a quick one, too, to wrap things up.
And they knew exactly how OG would respond. Basically not leaving anything up to chance over here. They make that fast play work. The crunch the crunches that Reckoning Esports were doing towards Arcade and B main were also working in the past. That they decide to go for something similar towards A this time. A crunch coming out from drop as well as A main. It's simply too good. Plus, you wouldn't expect a Jet to go on top of the tall box over there because it's such a risky position to be in, especially when you have no information about where your enemies are. So Deadly taking that position on top of that orange box was not something OG would have expected because it is a suicidal play. They would have expected Reckoning to play to their senses, not recklessly like this. I mean, speaking of recklessness, there were times in the past where OG literally just swung out of smokes without any visual, without any information, and still were able to get a couple of surprise kills onto Reckoning. As soon as OG tried something similar this time, Reckoning were prepared for this one. You can't surprise them very often. They pick up these little traits and these tricks very, very quickly.
Two to four, Reckoning Esports. Once again, it seems like deja vu once again. Similar scoreline was there in the previous game too, where Reckoning Esports managed to get a 2 rounds lead for themselves. It felt like they had a cushion, but then when the first half ended at 7-5, in the second half, Reckoning Esports just started storming through. But this time, teams have started off on the opposite side, so it's quite interesting. But a good way to click things off for Antidote. Starts off with a good tap onto the player. Her shutdown. RVK gets away with only 5 HP, so he's quite softened up. So at this point in time, it's next to impossible for this man to survive, because there's a Tasmanian Tiger in the front who shreds him to peace. And a good shot from Tesseract to get a return frag onto Flavin.
Uh-oh. Deadly survives that, doesn't even take a lick of damage. Maybe the Aftershock will force him out, and at least he takes 1 kill before the Aftershock sends him down to the nether realms. The crossfire, it's not the best between the players of Reckoning Esports. They have to hold on to their own, and Antidote has to make this timing play work to perfection. He does. He hears the birds being activated, he hears Voya being distracted, and he strikes them both. The captain stepping up, striking while the iron's hot. He manufactures a weakness while Reckoning is distracted.
All the time, whenever OG is able to win those rounds is because they're usually just finding a good timing on the opponents and able to sneak into the angles where Reckoning Esports are not really expecting them to. But yeah, a good way to get that round in the hands too, as well. And this Thrifty, we know how much these little eco rounds, or as you can say, these rounds can make a massive difference.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you pointed out the timing thing, because honestly, that was the thing that was working for them in Haven as well. Lose 3 rounds in a row, try to make it off-timed B push. That will work for OG. That worked for them in Haven, might work for them over here too. Like I said, identifying these win conditions is equally important. And for now, Reckoning go and do what they have always done in the past, and that's always worked for them. A good old arcade push. They avoid all the trap fires of RBK. No gaps in the smoke this time, so OG can't fire stray shots and get freebies either.
Spike planted.
In case something goes wrong, there's an orbital strike available on both the sides, but you will have to wait for a Q to trigger all that.
Oh my god, OG, they're picking off the players, able to isolate, and that's what the main problem is. The isolation's being given away from Reckoning Esports. A good orbital strike from Flavin to at least buy a little bit more time, and also catches AZs there, so I guess that's a good opening. Definitely an opening the players were looking for, but now as the defense is being stuck too, they're going to try to make it all the way to half. Good one. RVK stopped in the tracks, goes for a tap once again, but an orbital strike return from the opponents is going to be on the board too, but it's completely fine. It's a one-on-one scenario, and now they're also going to go for their defuse. So
no
much
timing.
Taken away, yeah. A couple of milliseconds more, and that could have been stopped in the tracks, but OG, once again, man, it's just the timing working in their favor. Oh, dude. But if you talk about the tactical nature of the game and how Reckoning Esports are able to play and overall replicate the game, it seems like they're doing a fantastic job. And when you talk about the way they want to create the game and the way they want the game to proceed, Reckoning Esports is the one to sort of create the levels of the game, and then OG is the one to sort of find that little cheeky lucky spot for themselves and somehow able to come out on top. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the illusory nature of Reckoning Esports, it gets them the win quite often, but then OG hold a mirror up against them and they recognize their weaknesses. This is like something that's straight out of a fairy tale. We did describe Reckoning's story as a Cinderella run, but now you're really starting to feel the magic. As logic dissipates from the rounds, as Deadly 10 takes matters into his own hands, he might just find the timing once again. And OG, they've already made quite a lot of rotations and adjustments. Leading out step by step. Reckoning Esports start taking arcade control once again, and it's worked for them several times in the past. But look at this. Voya strikes, and this time he takes one more kill. OG, a double defense. What a jump up from Deadly 10. He is just running around like a bunny, but with a lethal weapon in his hands. Aziz somehow does recover, but there is just way too much ground to cover over here. Antidote sneaks past, but even he will be found. He hits the ground, and it's all up to Aziz.
That one completely won off of Deadly 10's heroics. He got 3 kills himself. Just able to cut off or at least chop off his enemy's heads. And now Aziz, the last hero, standing into a complete desert storm, and even he will be engulfed. Reckoning Esports, the beasts are definitely just making sure that they're devouring their enemies one after the other, piece by piece. And so far, OG, they are making sure that they're going to give a resistance against a team like Reckoning Esports, but then Deadly 10 does this. How are you supposed to counter that?
Exactly, dude. I mean, it's not just Deadly 10 stepping up, but also the post-plant positions that Reckoning Esports are holding. You see in the previous round where they lost and OG was able to recover, that was a round where Reckoning Esports had 3 of their players playing one and done positions because they knew that even without the man advantage, they will be able to win. But this time, Reckoning Esports adjust. They play from the site and tower itself, backing each other up, knowing that there's no orbital strike available on OG. That's why they're able to take those positions. But look at the massive aggression coming out of OG this time. They have absolutely no remorse. They push deep down into its A main, and as a response, Reckoning take drop control. They're already in the backlines of A main, and OG have no way to check their backlines.
It's like OG are always a step ahead. If you're gonna take men, they're gonna take dish. What? That instant adjustment, once again able to adapt to the aggression of the opponents. And instantly you see Deadly 10 just straight up dashing onto the main. And now Deadly 10 too, recognizing the fact that there's going to be Antidote onto the opposite side, peeks out and puts the nail in the coffin right onto his dome. Reckoning Esports, another round. A force that's, of course, Reckoning Esports able to deliver onto a perfect level. And now Voya has also got his hands on the lockdown. Well, you can consider that a free side take. I guess now a B take is going to be coming in where Voya will place a classic lockdown towards the underpass area.
That could very well be a possibility, but this round is pivotal for the entire narrative of the game. Up until now, OG were responding to whatever Reckoning Esports are doing, and they weren't exactly making aggro plays of their own. But the one time they try to do that, Reckoning Esports respond from the other side, and they take control of A by simply running OG out of the server.
Yeah,
this time too.
And look at Rawfield. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was just saying that Rawfield's only got 1 kill, and you cannot even blame the fact that Rawfield's not performing. It's just Reckoning Esports really keeping things tight.
Yeah, they're keeping it a bit too tight. Just basically not letting them find any opportunities. Showstopper pop. This could be dangerous, but not even a liquor damage. And Flabben baits Aziz into a false sense of security. Aziz thought he had them dead to rights, but he couldn't be more wrong.
Lockdown used, RVK from the back closing in to Deadly 10 looks away at the nick of time, but at least he gets back to on the safer side. And now I guess even a knife is going to come in. Tesseract, that's humiliation. OG, nothing's working out in their favor. Now it's all down to RVK, the last player with only a bulldog in the hand. Good connections though. But an instant flash to return back and RVK gets spammed through. What's going on? OG, they're getting humiliated. And once again, it seems like deja vu. I guess 7-5 will be the score.
Sheesh, dude. I expected good performance from Reckoning Esports, but this is just a bit too good. OG are overthinking themselves to death. Oh, I can't see this again. You have to show this on replay? Seriously?
Have to.
It's too disgusting.
I mean, listen, this is a team that went through to the grand finals undefeated, and now look at what's happening to them. And Crips, it's crazy. I was literally talking about this. I said, okay, OG have made an immaculate run to the grand finals, but what if things don't work out at the grand finals? And I guess that's what exactly is happening.
OG this time having a semi-passive approach. I mean, on one end, they have Aziz pushed up towards A main, but that's about it. No other presence towards any other side of the map. And Reckoning are completely okay with taking things slowly. They know that OG will have some curiosity, some place where they would want to extend. But after 30 whole seconds of not seeing any activity towards A main. Aziz falls back. OG will put down a smoke over there to hopefully maintain control of the area that they worked so hard to acquire. But now they are stacking all their eggs in one basket, and the basket is labeled B. A 4-stack towards the B side is in progress, and Reckoning Esports are avoiding that area like the plague. They quickly go in towards the A side. Smokes deployed, Tesseract cut off from the action. And yeah, deadly updrafting also spots two enemies. So Reckoning basically get this side for free.
Yeah, once again. And they're just making it look so effortless too. Yeah, the paint shield's gonna deal a bit of damage, but Flavin's good enough. It's all good in the hood for this man. Good flash, and Hirsch will catch him slipping by. Raffle not able to fade away in time, and once again, Hirsch peeks out on the back of that. Nicely done. The breach so far has been a massive win condition for the players of Reckoning Esports, and now OG, they step their foot on the ground. And this is where it's all gonna break down into a chaos. RVK, he loses his mate, but now is all by himself. Need to turn the tides, need to flip the script against the players of Reckoning. Is looking around, and Deadly 10 puts the nail in the coffin. Last man out of the gate as well.
He was looking to flip the script, but he has to flip his mouse 180 degrees to get the shot onto Deadly 10. Had to look in too many different directions at the same time, and he got pushed and pulled apart. This is like some barbaric funeral over here. What a lead taken by Reckoning Esports, manipulating OG into discarding their advantage away.
And it's crazy, you've never seen OG play so laid back, so step back. They're respecting Reckoning. You've never seen this from the side of OG. They're actually letting the side control be taken away, but OG, they've got no other option. They need to play the side on retake. The amount of times they've tried to give resistance against Reckoning, even that's not working out. Even the retake's not working out. Now, what are you supposed to do? I guess go aggressive once again, but this time set up each other for trades. That's the only way you're gonna get Reckoning Esports down on their knees.
Yeah, you definitely need to change something. And if they don't change something, they will be cut in half. Speaking of cutting things, you guys can scan that QR code as well and get that Philips One blade for yourself. But as for the match, we'll be back with the second half after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to get.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z, or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
And once again, we're back. Where Reckoning Esports are able to play the perfect game of Valorant. It feels like they know exactly what moves OG are going to make on the chessboard. And Reckoning Esports, they're always a step ahead. As we move on to the second half in this pistol round. Once again, Reckoning Esports has to flip the script and flip the side as well. And now they're going to move to the defend. And we know Reckoning Esports on their defense have been one of those teams that is quite to be feared of. And they are going to make sure that OG will respect them.
Yeah, for now, OG respect the A main push that Reckoning Esports are throwing at them. OG see 3 people at once and they instantly decide to pivot, which is a right move, but they try to re-aggress out of B main. The flash would have been perfect, but somehow Delta 10 can't get anything done. Hey, but Reckoning still have the HP advantage. Rofuel Antidote are super low on HP. Flabin will wrap them up, and once again, Reckoning Esports get the man advantage.
Oh my god,
wait, did they really not see this?
What's going on? RVK, no, there's no way! He gets both of them! No! Dude, okay, I just lost my casting. What was that?
I have never seen that. Usually when there's opponents on the other side on the floor and you're on the ropes, it's a death sentence for you. But RVK, probably one of the first people to actually turn that rope push into a double kill. Absolutely unbelievable stuff happening here in VCSA. And somehow, Reckoning Esports lose their advantage back down to a 1v1. Harsh will stun him square in the face, but Tesseract just continues to plant. Single burst of the classic should be enough to deal with this Sheriff, but he's pushing him out. Tesseract leaves nothing to chance.
He actually pushes against the player in the front. But still, Reckoning Esports, even though they lost this pistol round, it's not going to hurt them a lot. They've still got 3 rounds cushion left over. 8-4 was the first half, and on the back of that, Reckoning Esports, they can still lie safe and sound and quite nice, but this push from RVK, it turned the tide of this entire round and got those 2 kills. It felt like Reckoning Esports, once again, the stars were aligned for them in this pistol round too, but it's stolen away by that one single miraculous play by RVK, which shouldn't have worked out, but it did. And as I said, it's these lucky instances, it's these lucky timings where OG are really able to win those rounds, and that should be changed.
Exactly. I would have expected that to be a suicide play. I really thought this rope will turn into RBK's news, but no. He turns into a cowboy, gets a double kill. Flabin inside the smoke. I mean, at least at this range, that classic burst can do something, but Aziz is picking him off midair. Maneuvers into the site effortlessly. Loses only 2 bullets worth of HP, and just like that, OG are once again in the driving seat.
1 enemy remaining.
Last man, and OG should be able to scoop this one under the rug too. Hirsch is able to get one, but it's not going to change a lot of things. It's completely fine. OG are okay with that. Not able to land the shot, and yeah, Izzy's cleaned things around. Anti-Eco won as well. 7 round of the boards for, or 6 out of the round of the boards for the side of OG, and now this is where they're going to be tested thoroughly. Vandals and Phantoms on the board, superior weaponry, and with only light armors, that means they're still going to have enough amount of money. Or no, actually, I've invested every single thing that they have. So Reckoning Esports should also have the loser's bonus building up for themselves, so I guess not a lot of problem yet.
Yet being the key word. Now that Reckoning Esports have the weapons once again, OG might just see trouble brewing up on the horizon. A storm's headed your way, and you better batten down the hatches, better lock your doors and windows. Yeah, that's good utility usage. Pushing out Voya out of the tower region with the Aftershock and the Molly. He tries to play inside the smoke once again. He is the smoke criminal, but finally this criminal gets punished. Death penalty awarded, and OG rewarded with the sight instead. Harsh obviously has utility which he can use to throw down the Brant, but look at Deadly. He dashed in before the flash arrived, and Aziz is able to get the better of him, plucks his head off, and Aziz proving once again why he's the highest rated player in the tournament.
Well, I guess OG are back in the flow once again. They really just want to equalize the scoreline. The map of Fracture now, it's looking a little bit too much Deadly, as OG are sort of able to pull things back in the second half, and that's what they really needed. But yeah, I mean, if my heart's pumping so fast, I can already imagine what's going on with the players, and OG being able to control their nerves with the gun, with some immaculate amount of shooting inside the previous round too. So yeah, things looking decent for them. And now Reckoning Esports on an eco. Once again, Sheriff's on the board.
Sheriff's on the board. Classics as well. Plenty of util being thrown down towards A main, but will they pick up the fight? They know for a fact that OG are waiting across the other side, waiting to counter push this one. Both the breaches just holding their utilities out, ready to dump them at a moment's notice, waiting for the call from their duelists. And upon their cue, they rain down hell. Meanwhile, that fight is happening. Raw is able to get everything done towards B main. Hold on though, Reckoning are actually doing damage over here. Deadly manages to escape. Never mind, he just swings out to his own death again. But still, 2 kills for Reckoning Esports. That is not what they would have expected. They needed much more than that to stop OG. And now that both these teams are tied up, the score is leveled. Reckoning will start to sweat bullets.
Dude, look at the operator now. That's being bought by Deadly 10. And we know what happens when this man is able to activate and find some flesh with the gun. We know what this man is capable of. That operator single-handedly can't prove out to be the win condition. And this time he's positioned himself to the A site. There's 3 players backing him up. A good flash too. I'm gonna reveal the players' position outside main. And you can see Deadly 10 as well positioning himself quite close. This might just be a little problematic just yet. And OG are quite ready too with their own utils. Player spotted in the close quarters. The op not exactly striking that well in the close lines, but now he needs to fall back. Aziz used his showstopper, but not able to find a lot of value on the back of that, and now instant retreat from OG.
They're retreating into a vacant B site. Reckoning might have the man advantage, but OG can still make this one work. Oh, and look at these positions that they're taking. They just go for the plant. And not just that, they're stepping ahead of the smokes. They're trying to fight towards Generator and Canteen. Flash burst is just racked back, but Reckoning were aware about the forward positionings of OG members. And they're being very, very careful. But eventually they'll run out of utility, they'll run out of space. Rolling Thunder sent through, but Tesseract angles himself perfectly. Both of them line up.
Flabin and Deadly 10, the last 2 criminals alive on the site. As Flabin's gonna go for the stick, at least trying to make it all the way to the 50%. And he actually does so, gets one, but that's all he's gonna find. Instantly, the man follows it up to OG, able to squeeze away another round on the board for themselves. And 9-8 is the scoreline. 1 round lead from OG finally, and now a tactical timeout being called. Actually, the defending side has been a little tough on both these teams. I know.
Yeah, both these teams simply not able to get a lot done in terms of defense. I mean, at least Reckoning are able to get the advantage quite often towards A main. They're seldom losing control over that area. And if OG have to challenge them towards A main, they have to dump bodies, which is obviously quite risky. But every single time Reckoning showed too much presence towards A main, OG instantly hit somewhere else. They're very good at identifying where the players of Reckoning Esports are, and then they avoid that area like the plague, just finding other ways into another part of the map. Well, that at least has been the case so far. And this time, OG were even aware that if they just continue holding the site, holding for crossfires, they might not make it because Reckoning have superior numbers. So that's why they go for the aggro fights. Instead of holding back and just playing for time, they pick up fights on their own terms, and that surprises the hell out of Reckoning Esports. Whether it's pushes towards Generator and Canteen, or whether it's that double kill in response to the Rolling Thunder.
Let's see, man. For now, Reckoning Esports is someone that has lost the momentum, and OG, they've gained it back in their hands. It is an attacking sided map, so makes sense why things are a little tough on the defense on this map. And once again, Rawfield taking quite a quick take already to the site. Orbital Strike's going to force him out of the heaven area. The good Cloud Burst to give him a little bit of visual denial against the opponents. And he's also able to find 2 quick kills through the smoke. Hirsch taken care of. Tristus Wall gets taken care of. And now the lockdown's initiated from Woya. It's going to force, or at least it's going to force the players of OG to reroute away. But look at Flabin is ready in the underpass area. Might just be able to squeeze 1 frag, and yes, he exactly does so. RVK on the flank angle, able to cut off the rotation to the B, or to the A site. And now, Reckoning Esports, once again, things slipping away from their hands.
And Reckoning Esports are so confused. They saw RBK trying to push into its sand and they lost a player from that region, which leads Reckoning to assume that this is indeed an A crunch. They're taking their sweet time trying to get into positions to hopefully trade each other out, but they will be in for a rude awakening when OG plant the spike on B.
Spike planted.
Deadly 10's position should be known, as he's made a lot of sounds with the and the foot cues. And with this Blade Storm, he's just looking for that single pick from the players of OG. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be given away. Good Molotov going to force Tesseract out of that corner. But the Eve... Oh, what a flick from Tesseract. Made me eat my words, and now it's all down to Flab. And he knows he's the last wish, so he needs to run away.
Sheesh, he knocks Deadly up into the air and then plunges him down to the ground. That was a stylish shot. And OG once again continue their winning streak. 6 rounds in a row as they take everything away from Reckoning Esports. They might even take the gun away from Flappin, but no, he's allowed to carry it forward into the next round. What a game from OG. They start things off quite slowly. An aggro push towards the B side. It doesn't pan out the way they wanted to. But then as soon as the lockdown's invested from the side of Reckoning Esports, OG fall back only temporarily. And while they do so, RBK has already snuck into its sand. And from there, he snuck into its defender spawn. Not a position Reckoning Esports would have expected would be compromised so soon.
Good flash. Deadly 10 gonna push on the back of that. Flash did not spot anyone, but still Deadly 10 should not show reckless aggression onto that part of the map. OG still not knowing where they exactly want to go, but they're sort of tilted towards the B side, so I guess that's what the game plan is gonna look like. Flabbin's holding the arcade side. No one peeked out just yet. OG taking their sweet little time, approaching every single piece of the map. And Reckoning Esports, they're going to let them have that too. They're playing so passive, so held back, and they need to actually, because OG, they're able to win the duels so far on their attack. So you might as well respect the opponent's firepower and try and get yourself in some cheeky plays. Good play from Flab, and he actually peeks out of the Molotov. No one expected that from the side of OG, and now Boy on the side too is knocking players down.
You have to play inside the smokes to deal with the smoke criminal. And yeah, Woya was able to isolate quite a lot of those fights because of the sky smoke, but now nothing's working for them. And Deadly finally strikes. Antidote left to his own devices in the sight. Goes for a very risky plant in the open. And somehow Harsh doesn't punish him, even though Antidote was blind as a bat. He still wins the duel? No way! Oh, finally Twist is able to control the losses and Reckoning Esports win their first round of the half. But all the lead that they had has been squandered away.
Chance once again back in action, and so is OG, able to swing the entire momentum back in their hands, and also able to somehow get things under control for themselves. And look at the replays, dude. Reckoning Esports, 9 rounds for them, able to win that one, and now OG on towards 10. Considering they've still got the guns on the board, but the problem is they're still humble with the economy. One single misstep and all the guns will be taken away, and they will be back on a complete reset with the pistols.
Oh, so the Trailblazer does find something, and RBK is getting harassed over here. He's being targeted really hard. Trailblazer, breach utility, and finally the op shot from Deadly. All of that thrown in just for that 1 kill onto RBK.
Speak of that 1 kill, and look at Aziz. He sneaked up so deep all the way towards the spawn, and he actually gets a glimmer of his opponent. Strikes him down. Still a 3-on-3. Tough to say he's going to be able to come out on top in this one. But Aziz gets smoked off. Now Aziz right on the other side of that smoke too. While the players of Reckoning Esports are looking to burst out, they're not going to be given a lot of room for error.
Absolutely
They will
not.
need to force out error from the players of OG. Good flash, but still not going to blind Aziz. But what a
whoa.
Flappin'.
Yeah, that flick of the wrist, absolutely monumental. Antidote takes his time to commit the orbital strike, but Flabin's already got it down to halfway point. Harsh won't even get the chance to tap it. The orb from Antidote finally showing up. And that's one consistent thing that OG are doing. Every time they try to go for a B plant, somebody or the other from OG will hunt down the Reckoning members. They will play hyper aggro towards Canteen and to its generator. Basically, literally picking fights in their spawn. And Reckoning Esports, how will they retake when they don't even have space to set up the retake? When they have to literally worry about the spawn being taken away from them, there's no avenue left for them to use their utility from.
True. Look at this, man. Guardian, Sheriff, Stinger, Classic, Phantom. Broken buys on the side of Reckoning Esports, but still gotta make something out of nothing. No other choice. Trist is on the other side, and so far OG haven't really challenged a lot of those times onto A main. I think so it's only once or twice. So yeah, they don't really need to go on that side of the map, because the opposite side is quite easy for them to take undertaking. So might as well try to keep trying your luck onto that one. But Reckoning Esports this time, they're at least able to get a good opening, and that's the entry fragger out.
Yep. Rothfield decided to dash inside, hoping to catch the isolated Voya over there, but little did he know that even Twist was right around the corner. And this time OG, after they get the confirmation that 4 Reckoning members are towards A, they quickly pivot towards the B site. OG are so good at avoiding dangerous situations that Reckoning Esports are trying to throw at them.
Right here. My
Wow.
ult's ready.
Well, that's one way to kick things off on the post-plant scenario. Orbital Strike used to. Gonna take down Aziz with that. Nicely done. And Reckoning Esports, it's a massive storm that's brewing on the site, and they take the site control easily enough. Considering that was also broken buys for them, they've got their hands on the guns once again. They're back into full force. Now their main goal over here is going to be to equalize the scoreline. Considering it's a thrifty round, OG now will need to rethink what exactly went wrong in that previous round for them.
Right here. My ult's ready.
A lot of things, honestly. I mean, they were doing it quite well at the beginning. Reckoning Esports went for a 4-stack towards the A site, and Rothfield dashing in resulted in his death. So that's an instant man disadvantage, but at least in the process of doing so, he figured out what Reckoning setup looks like. So OG did a decent job of going towards the B side, avoiding danger and getting that plant down. But Reckoning flushed them out of these positions. Smoke off B main, so Antidote's op is useless. Orbital Strike pushes everyone holding tower outside. And just like that, Reckoning win the round. But can they strike once again? Deadly's op has been all over the place. And it will be difficult for him to make impact over here, but he does. He kills Antidote. But in response, OG have already taken arcade control. And Deadly Ton can't make his way back to safe territory.
Oh, that aftershock could have been good, but accidentally he missed it at the last second. But still, the spam's going to take down Tesseract solo. The players are quite low. The HP advantage in the hands of Reckoning Esports. And all they need to do is find 2 taps on 2 of the players. 1 single bullet to seal the deal. And then the last man's heavy, which is RVK. It's looking pretty good. Only 4 HP in the hands of AZs. Still, Reckoning Esports taking their time, not forcing things just yet. That bullet onto Aziz to shut him down. Now Trist is going to go for the stick. He's of course going to catch a bit of damage, but the main deal over here for them is to make it all the way halfway, and they've done so, but there's too many bullets resisting that entire defuse. Raw fuel down to 2 HP, will need to peek out, and he actually does it.
Just trading blow for blow, bullet for bullet. They had to heavy stick that spike. And then OG just let loose a rain of bullets. A hailstorm of lead unleashed from B main. Both Flabin and Rothfield very low on HP, hemorrhaging internally. And Rothfield connects the final shot. Things are starting to take a turn for the worse. Reckoning Esports got into this game feeling really nice, feeling really good, but now they just basically spell their own defeat. The moment of reckoning is upon them, and they take matters into their own hands. A really aggro push out of A main, basically committing the entire force in this area. But OG, they're not afraid of fighting back. Usually OG would avoid the area like the plague if they see more than 3 pieces of utility coming their way, but this time OG are actually challenging them. This could be disastrous if Reckoning get their lay of the land. Meanwhile, RVK has already snuck into the B side, and none of the KJ util is present to let them know that the site area is lost. The turret is towards the defender's spawn. It's not even active. RVK is about to get the backstab of his life, and he's about to get past, but Flaben's marking this angle. And all this has now gone to waste. But hey, at least the spike can get to the B side before Reckoning can respond. That should be good, right?
Raw Fuel over here gets one, but that's all he's gonna get. Deadly 10 with the shorty in the close. He gets him down. Trades happen back and forth. Still a 3-on-4 scenario. Plate Storm available in the hands of Deadly 10, but he's not gonna decide to pop it just yet. He actually doesn't need to. Man advantage stacked up into their hands, and Aziz with this flank from the ropes. This is a 200 IQ play, and now also a trigger discipline coming in. And Aziz from the back is going to execute Deadly 10 out and over. Once again, the script has been flipped against Reckoning. And now Reckoning will need to bring out a miracle. That's the only way they're going to be able to pull this round, pull things back into their court. Her steps onto the site. Too much util. That's going to force him away. Dealt with the first man on the board, and our Reckoning Esports, they lose out on the second map of Fracture. It's a map trade. OG, they strike back once again.
OG so dominant in the second half, conceding only 2 rounds to Reckoning Esports. A 5-round win streak to start things off, and then the rest is history. OG proving again why using Chaos against them is a bad idea, because they can devolve down to the same mannerisms and beat you with experience. The primal instinct of the apes kicking in, punching the wolves in the face, and tying this series at 1-1. Whatever loss they experienced in the first half definitely shocked them to their core and forced them to adapt their playing style. And man, oh man, when OG start adapting, you better start praying.
Still quite a close affair though. You can definitely count on the players of Reckoning Esports. It's tough still to say. It's equal trade when it comes to the winning side of the map, so the grand finals are off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in. Feeling under pressure.
And as you guys saw, a lot of giveaways are happening, and indeed this grand finals have turned out to be quite thriller. Once again, we're gonna move in forward soon enough in the 3rd map, which will be the map of Split, and I just can't wait to straight up just deep dive into that territory, because I want to see some new stuff for Reckoning, and I want to see some new stuff from OG too, because so far Reckoning Esports are able to read into OG's strat book, but Fracture, being an attacker-sided map, in the end, OG came back pretty strong. Now as we move on forward to the map of Split, this will be tough to call which one will be taking this home. But once again, we're seeing the similar composition back, the Reyna and Sky.
The Reyna and Sky bringing that Super Flash combination together again. Yeah. That's definitely going to be a twist. I fully expected a Viper and Astra coming out of Reckoning Esports, but then again, they have many ways of surprising us. And yeah, in even Fracture, we saw that in the first half, Reckoning Esports were trying to go for a lot of those unorthodox moves, like they swing out of smokes, and they just try to be as pesty and as unpredictable as possible. But that did not give them the results they wanted. Now that maybe Voya is back on the Reyna, he can be that thorn in the side that needs to prick OG in a sensitive spot.
You gotta be a super team to dodge this combo off the Super Flash. Reyna and Sky, a deadly combination. Let's see how well Reckoning Esports will utilize it this time on the map of Split. It's the first time I've seen them play on this map with this combo. So indeed, it's going to be quite an interesting affair for them. But for OG, they should be a little astonished outside of this. Look at Flab and all the players. All he needs to do is find a good timing. And if he actually does, this can be a date with destiny. Rafuel, though, he might have just found a timing for himself and might just be able to sneak in a kill right onto the player in the front. But instead, he actually runs away from him. So Trist has now got a good timing for himself. Bait shells out. Too many players approaching. Trist dealt with. Deadly 10 still on the site.
Deadly 10 trapped, cornered on the side, but he's not one to be cornered. He will drive them into a wedge, but no, that doesn't happen. Oh my goodness, okay then, that wasn't expected. Harsh dives into the side via elbow while his teammates take 2 frags up on top, and that leaves Rafuel alone and wondering where did it all go wrong. OG start things off on a good note. They had just the right read. They got into the wind and even managed to isolate all of those fights. But then, the extension into its vents led to 2 of their deaths, and even Harsh stepped up with the heroics at the right moment.
The fact that Reckoning Esports are also changing their composition is sort of catching OG off guard. They don't exactly know how Reckoning Esports are going to be playing or how they're going to be positioned with their defaults on this map, especially with this comp. So OG, yeah, them being able to find that opening, that was a great start indeed, but they're not able to close on to that because the press from Reckoning Esports instantly is so quick. Woya, oh, he catches a bullet onto his leg, and I think so that should be a warning sign of him not peeking out once again. And Reckoning Esports will now need to be play a little bit laid back and push back. Flash from Hirsch confirms their presence, but they don't know that there's one man right in the front of their face. Good shot from Antidote, but an instant refrags there from Woya. Oh, down to 61 HP, but it's completely fine considering the opponents don't even have the superior weaponry, but it's still a 4-on-4.
Here.
4-on-4. Best odds that OG have had in a while. But Reckoning say no. Flabbin jiggling in and out of that corner. Now they know where he is, and hopefully that will set up the bait for Trist perfectly. He swings out a little more. Okay, never mind. He swung out a little earlier than expected. He probably could have held that position, and I think they still would have been fine. But this game, it's as nail-biting as it's ever been. From a 4v4 to a 3v3 now. And once again, Deadly in a similar position. This time at least he's got the turret to give him information in case the vent gets breached. And he's able to line them all up, knock them down, a double instantly in his hands. Tesseract has to race into the side with very little HP and very little time left. He just needs to get into a safe spot. And that round might be far out of his reach, but I think OG will be just happy with the spike plant.
You can't just underestimate anything just yet. 30 HP. All it's going to need is 2 taps. You never know. Tesseract is a monster. He's a beast of life. And, well, I guess I expect a little bit too much. But, yeah, it's okay. Reckoning Esports, they run away with this round win, too, considering it's an anti-eco. The upcoming rounds, of course, going to be a bonus. So, for OG, this is where they will have a big advantage of converting things around. But, considering it's a map of split, you know, a lot of engagements do happen in the close quarters.
Close quarters. That's true. That's exactly why you will see quite a lot of Stingers and Spectres on this map. But this 2-pronged approach from OG didn't really give them the result they were hoping for. At least so far, OG have been able to get into vents without any problems. So they can, to some extent, get mid-control quite easily. But then again, it's only been 2 rounds, so it's a bit too soon to call this. And just as I say that, Reckoning Esports reinforced mid, this time with 2 players. Both the Sky and the Reyna are holding here together, so that super flash combination we spoke about in the pre-game segment, we might just catch a glimpse of that over here.
Yeah, we are actually catching a glimpse of that. You guys saw that. Reyna flash and Sky flash used at the same time. Next to impossible to dodge it. The only thing you can do is hide behind a cover, and that's what they did. Dodging vents! Oh, the timing actually not working out that well, and Trist only down to 5 HP. Now this defense sort of seems like it's starting to crumble down. Trist needs to get back up to full HP, so he needs to close his distance to Hirsch. He needs to go where Hirsch is, and that's what he's going to do. So he's going to be getting a regrowth back onto himself. And considering they know how valuable this judge can be, it can strike down multiple players at the same time. It found himself in the right time, in the right situation.
And because they have to fall back and heal each other up, OG get the time to retreat away from mid and head back into the B site. At least the guiding light gives Hirsch a good idea as to where the rest of OG is, but he can't do anything to stop it by himself. Or maybe he can! Solo kill available, but still the site is lost. The spike will be planted. Flabin though, he's managed to get across that tripwire which was placed on mid, and they might not be aware about his backstab. Antidote checks it regardless, and he gets the frag.
Yeah. Flabin not getting any value right then, and they're sort of sealed the round in the favor of OG. But look at the arena, man. People are actually even standing in the back because all the chairs are filled up. Yeah, house full. That's what you call it. But yeah, Reckoning Esports, I mean, considering that was just a bonus round, I would say not bad. Okay. They were able to get 2 guns away from the opponents, but it's still not really going to affect a lot to OG, considering their 3 players are still going to be on the light armor, so they're quite okay when it comes to the economical side of the game. But now Voya, it's actually Voya who's using the operator and Trist on the judge. Interesting. Let's see.
Okay. Once again, OG getting in towards vents without any problems. Trist, though, he can create a lot of problems with this judge. In every round that we've seen so far, OG have been able to get into vents, but little do they know that the judge will surprise them here. They will still try to push onwards, still try to get at least a little bit of control. But Tesseract made a ballsy move over there. The flash alone could have led to his death, but at least now they discover where Hoya's operator is. Hoya, though, will reposition himself towards the mouth of this heaven, and this should be enough to stop them in their tracks. The smoke, though, holds him back, and the spike has made its way across, so there's nothing that he can do right now except maybe regroup with his teammates and play for the retake. Even that seems difficult with the op.
They can definitely go for the heaven control, though, and maybe you try and rain down death and destruction with the operator from heaven. But once again, OG is not one of those teams that will give out peaks like that. Raw Fuel holding quite a tight angle, but Voya instantly good with the trade. But still, operator in the close quarters is going to be quite an unfortunate stuff for Voya. He will need to change guns on last moment. Gets his hand on the Vandal, and nothing done. Nicely wrapped up from OG. Good round actually secured up as well. And now for Reckoning Esports, once again, they're going to need to rethink their decisions. The judge is not able to come alive that well. He was only able to find 1. And considering when you're going to invest into a judge, you're going to hope that you will at least be able to get multiple kills.
Yeah. But at least the judge wasn't the biggest problem for OG. I mean, for that matter, neither was the operator. That's the more expensive weapon. That's what Reckoning Esports will regret losing. Oh, Deadly falling back as quickly as he can before the Trailblazers get the better of him. But Aziz waits for no man and nobody. He jumps across the sea of nanoswarm straight into the site, covers the distance before Deadly has a chance to react. And somehow the Trailblazer doesn't catch Tesseract. He can flash everybody down. What a spray! A triple for this man. The Nature Girl turns into the beast.
Oh,
Voya still has a chance in this one. Somehow recovers the weapon, and he's got full HP as well. But the time is ticking against him, and this clock is unforgiving.
Oh, that little pixel. And Voya's head's cut off. Loses it. OG 3-2. 1 round lead. This time it's OG. Showstopper available in the hands of AZs. They've got 3 ultimates in total. So I guess that's good news for the opponents. Talk about the players of Reckoning though. This little switch up that they've also brought into roles, right? Where you're seeing Deadly 10 on the Killjoy, then you're seeing Trist on the Duelist. This change is definitely quite astonishing. It's surprising us, that's for sure.
True. And maybe these old switch ups will surprise OG too, but for the time being, they are looking fine and dandy. Here comes the showstopper. Aziz will blow him to smithereens, but at least Harsh sprays him down before he bites the dust. Although the site also is lost. That's a creative tripwire. Should catch anyone who's dropping down, but will anyone drop down though? Because the super flash lets him take height, lets him take elevation, and Voya just dismisses across. There's another player right behind him, and being inside the smoke is Deadly 10, hoping to channel his inner criminal down once again. He stopped OG from planting at least now, but he can't isolate the fights. And Antidote is too sharp with his op.
OG storming through the first half so far, winning rounds back to back. And Reckoning Esports not able to find the grip on the players of OG. They need to put a leash on OG. Considering on the attack, they're able to win so many rounds on the back of that, back-to-back. They're always able to find some sort of openings on some part of the map. Reckoning Esports not able to seal the entirety of the map so far. Always gaps are being made, man, and that's something that's working against him. They will need to amp up the team play once again. They will need to click together. And Antidote with the op on the attack is definitely quite interesting. But talk about Reckoning Esports too. They're taking control on the opposite side of the map. Once again, similar stuff. They've managed to get their footing on the site. But the spike goes down. A lot of time being bought considering now the spikes went down. Showstopper as well. It's going to get rid of Antidote. That's a massive operator and a big threat neutralized.
Blow for blow as the trades go forward. A pinstripe in the kill feed is visible. And just like that, OG take control of the site once again. But this time the difference is RBK is playing towards Mail rather than with his teammates in the site. All these trap wires that he's placed down there are making it impossible for Hoya to make his backstab work, but he skill jumps across. That's cool! Rafiel never saw this coming! The movement of Hoya, the fancy footwork gets him all that he requires. And the elaborate trap that RVK set up has now gone to waste. It's up to him to stop all of them now, but there's a fighting squad waiting for him.
Finally, dude, Reckoning Esports one round, and that should be a massive sigh of relief. But can it be a momentum breaker, though? That's what really matters. Breaking the momentum of the opponent teams. But the chants are still going on. It doesn't matter if OG lost or not. Still, their economy is quite good. They're quite rich as ever before. But yeah, Voya being able to find this key flank just changed things all the way around. And now you should see a little bit of change in the trip placement too.
Placing alarm bomb. Placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm
grenade. A change in the trips will definitely be required. Rafuel and RBK probably had a word about how his trips failed up. I mean, if RBK was dead and then Voya stuck across, then at least Rafuel has that in the back of his mind. But RBK being alive all the way to the end and Voya just skill jumping across, now that's a big problem you gotta patch. RBK usually places the lurk towards either A main or B main every time he's on split, regardless of which of a team he's playing for. This has been his tendency ever since he was in F1 LS. But this time it's a 4-stack towards Mail, and the judge is right across the corner. I'm starting to feel nervous, Necro. If the judge isn't enough, then Flamin with the Vandal will also make it work. And just like that, Reckoning Esports have repelled the invaders away.
Finally at the right spot at the right time. And there we go, Flamin on the site once again, looking to sweep things around. And sweep them under the rug. Oh, Antidote, operator spotted. Now I'm pretty sure Reckoning Esports are going to be adamant to get their hands on that op. Why not? If Deadly or even any of the players, they get their hands on that op, things can be a little good, Voya. The timing's not perfect. And oh, wow, on the opposite side, the teleport comes in from the shadows. So there should be a free plant coming in too, but same thing is done by Flamin as well. And Antidote knows that there is a TP in the close quarters.
Oh!
Okay.
Okay then.
Wow.
Yeah, the shrouded steps don't always expect the way you want them to. But still, Antidote knew this was a lost round. The 1v4 was a difficult task. And he's at least able to get the plant down, so there's some money available for OG. Combined with the lost bonus, maybe they can afford cheap weapons once again. If not, they can definitely afford to have sheriffs and bulldogs maybe.
One enemy remaining.
Although I must say, this little setup from Reckoning Esports is so difficult to deal with. Judge in the close corner, you also have Voya with the op, so this just makes it nearly impossible for OG to breach in anywhere. And yes, so far OG have had some successful rounds, but most of them come from their relentless B push.
4-4, man. It's the scoreline. Things evened out. A timeout from OG considering they lost 2 rounds back-to-back. So, yeah, indeed, a point of concern for them. And maybe a time to make some calls. But OG's coach is just sitting back and relaxing, I guess. Not a lot to say here. Maybe he's just taking his time out to give them a little bit of sigh of comfort. A breather. You need to, man. Considering these grand finals, pressures can definitely be something that can get to your head.
That's another thing that OG have managed to do. They managed to get Reckoning out of their heads. Remember how in map number 1, Reckoning were basically manipulating OG into doing their bidding, into discarding away their advantage. At least now OG can have their own original thoughts and get Reckoning's poison out of their minds. Can they get rid of Voya though? At least he breaks the camera with the op, so now Reckoning Esports have given away signs of warnings. And OG will be well to pay respect to that. Cage to cross that little gap and head towards the ramp upstairs. But little do they know that they're walking straight into the waiting arms of Voya.
Wow, quick dash on the site once again, but Deadly 10's ready, and the cross is trained. Oh, wanted to pull out the classic in the close quarters because he knew he was stunned up and the inaccuracy might just get to him. But now Deadly 10 peeks on the back of that flash. Nicely done. Reckoning Esports, these little team plays that they're doing, so good. Did you see the timing on that flash too? It saved Deadly 10 so well.
Yeah, and it's not just a flash. Even Voya swinging in and out of the smokes, dismissing back to safety as well. And as soon as they are done dealing with Voya, Deadly swings out of the elbow. The paranoia as well, just getting the better of every single player. The coordination that Reckoning Esports possess is on a whole new level right now.
Here.
This is the kind of coordination that we hadn't seen from them in a very long time. Reckoning Esports pulling everything together. The master plan coming into full effect as their comms are on point.
And look on the A side. Oh, what is he doing? Okay. A really tough call. A really tough stuff, of course, from the side of Rafuel. Straight up dashed up. Didn't even have the gun in his hands. He thought maybe that his teammates will be able to get the trade. I'm not exactly sure what the game plan was there, but I would definitely call it a massive mistake considering now RVK has found himself all the way in the back. This is definitely good news. He was able to get two of them himself, but not something that would give you a lot of advantage inside the game. Now you've got the man disadvantage.
One enemy remaining.
Oh gee, my goodness. I cannot imagine how quickly they are falling like flies. They really picked up the pace this round. The paranoia thrown in from sewers allowed Rafuel to dash upstairs, and it hit Deadly square in the face. But Deadly says, nah, it's not a flash, it's just a near side. I can still have my vision around the corner. And he jumps up with that shorty, dispatches Rafuel down to the nether realms. And OG respond well to it, right? They dive deep into the site, they just quickly cover ground, run in, sprinting as fast as their nimble legs can carry them and get that spike down. Even RBK pushes deep into screens because he knows that holding these close-line positions from the side itself has been problematic for OG. So he tries something new, and he does find a kill, but all those surprises are still not enough to throw Reckoning off their game.
I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Rafuel play there. Yeah, it's understandable they had to flash there as well, but still not a good decision that he made. But okay, this time at least they're able to do something good and get the site control in the hand. Nicely done. Seekers were out as well, so that sort of gave the opponent's position away. But now Reckoning Esports, they're going to be off to a retake here. Things will be a little tough, and it will be a daunting task to get their hands once again back on the site. As we've got Reckoning Esports flank approaching. Aziz's position compromised in the close quarters. He's also able to strike down the player in the front. At least that's a fair trade from their side. 2-on-4 scenario. For the players of Reckoning Esports, the arts are stacked against them. And yeah, Tesseract is going to be lucky enough to get both of them.
Yeah, he saw the first one fair and square, but that second kill, that was just random. That was luck. But he doesn't need luck. Even if he did not get that frag, OG was still poised very well to win the round. They pick up the pace and blitzkrieg into the site. Poor Deadly had absolutely no time to react. Before he could even send his mouse across the other side of the desk, he was already dead. And that's similar stuff which RVK pulled off in the last round. Aziz did this time. They take quick control of screens and basically cut away the avenues that Reckoning have available for the retake. This is the strat that OG were using even in Fracture. Push all the way in towards the defender entrances, all the way towards defender spawn and Fracture, and leave Reckoning with no room left to mount their retake. Even now, they get into its screens, which basically eliminates one avenue of retake entirely. And then Reckoning are forced to either take control of ramps or drop down from the window. Both of those options are equally risky.
Definitely way too close for comfort though, but still, as Reckoning Esports, they've got 1 round advantage. They would definitely want to make this series, or not this series, I mean the first half, 7-5. So Reckoning Esports knows the value this round holds. And considering the upcoming pistol round as well, the second half pistol round will be quite valuable as well. Voya gets his hands on the operator, while the rest of his team with only Vandals and full armors on the board. Similar stuff on the opposite side, Vandals and Phantoms. Let's see what sort of initial setup we're going to see from both the sides. And OG, they're really adamant to just straight up go for an early peek over here. Good shot. Antidote's going to find that perfect peek. Flab and shut down in the close. Now that's not a good news for Reckoning Esports, considering they've lost their controller.
My ult ready. Cutting their vision.
But when they lose the controller, they can always take back another kill. Oh, RBK playing that timing down to perfection. Reckoning Esports are already diving into the site with this lockdown, hoping to stop OG from even planting. But RBK now will have to make his say. He will have to make them pay. His flank will be detected, and Trish leaves nothing to chance.
That's what you call perfect teamwork.
Switching sides.
And this is what I mean when you're gonna play off of each other, playing for their trades. It's completely okay. That bait and switch combo that Reckoning Esports did on the site to get those kills and also catch him off guard. This shot was definitely quite easy for Woya, but he still ended up missing. But it's completely okay when your teammates have got your back. And OG, yeah, even the coach is just left astonished. He can take a look at the scoreboard as well in front of you. Nicely done, man. Reckoning Esports, 7-5 half. This was the similar half that we saw in the first map too. And so far on the third map, it seems like things are repeating itself. But as we all know, the upcoming pistol round is what's really gonna matter.
It is. The second pistol round is super important, and Reckoning have had quite a lot of success on pistol rounds so far. But you too can find some success if you scan this QR code and sign up for the raffle. You might just stand a chance of winning the Philips One Blade. You already saw plenty of giveaways happening in the arena. They will be happening online too. So go ahead and scan it up. Meanwhile, we'll be back with the second half after this short break.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to get.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20N line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z, or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly through it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half. For the first half ended at the scoreline of 7-5. Reckoning Esports do have a little bit of cushion for themselves, but not a cushion they should rely on. Now we're back once again where the sides have been switched, where we'll find OG on the defense and Reckoning on the attack, and we're going to kick things off for the pistol round once again. This pistol round holds a lot of value, and whichever team's able to claim that will be closer to the victory.
Reckoning Esports have found quite a lot of success in pistol rounds in the past, and they start off in a very similar fashion as well. Easy kill onto a main, and they flood into the side as well. Nothing can stop them from planting the spike now. Twist extends even further, this time killing RVK. And OG don't even get to have a say in this round.
What just happened? This is what you call lawnmower. Just straight up walking in, not even any problem. Just mowing the lawn, mowing down anyone that stands against him. And a flawless round too. As I said, whichever team wins this round, they're going to get a step closer to victory on this map too. And so far, Reckoning Esports has been able to win this. Now, this is where things will get a little intense. You can see 3 sheriffs in the hands of OG. This describes a lot of things. That means OG, they have a sort of intention to win this round, but at the same time, they would be more than happy if they're able to do a lot of damage. That means a dent on the opponent's economy and keep them humble.
Yeah, but in the past, OG trying to put dents in Reckoning's economy hasn't really discouraged them. So, and now they will be the ones feeling discouraged. Sheriff versus Ghost, and he still wins. Rawfield will be checked. The frenzy pumps him full of lead. And just like that, any attempts of pushing out smokes, any attempts of surprising Reckoning will be met with death. Even Tesseract has the same fate. Oh, poor Aziz. Does he help out RVK on the side, or does he deal with the lurkers? He's conflicted. Both those...
Oh my god, that could have been a knife. Look, Trist, yeah. Trist is disappointed. Trist knew that that could have been a knife. But, yeah.
Doesn't even apologize, this shameless dude. We've already seen a knife happen in this game, you know?
I mean, it's okay, you know? At the end of the day, the MVP will also matter quite a lot. So I guess Boy is really looking for the run of the MVP here. He's got 19 kills and 6 deaths. Look at that, KD. It's just insane considering you're at the 3rd map of a grand final where you know there's so much pressure surmounting on top of your head. And Trist, he's like Lightning McQueen already, just straight up pedal to the metal. He's not gonna stop. He's got his speed all the way back, all the way down to 200 kmph. But this time it's OG who's gonna start things off.
And while Trist is deep inside enemy territory, his teammates aren't anywhere close to him. Voya not checking the closer angle leads to his death. Oh, and Trist has found the timing. He could have had a date with Destiny over here, but RVK, he shows up as an unknown entity. But still, Trist cleared up so much space for his team. They now know that they can make their way inside. Flabin goes from smoke to smoke, steps across that gap. And he plants it safely too. And here comes the flank from Hirsch. Perfectly timed, perfectly positioned. And this will sandwich OG the need to break out before they get chopped.
Oh my god, no way! Flabin with 2, and the Spectre in the close range is of course going to be quite venomous, and that's what happens. This is a bonus round for Reckoning Esports. If they win this, their economy is going to be on cloud 9. So they will need to turn things around. RVK approaches, and he does not expect the man in the close left. Hirsch to close it off.
Reckoning Esports getting so much map control every step along the way. Whether it's Voya committing his life to the cause by selling that B fake, or whether it's Trist going all the way up towards A heaven and getting this much map control. And while Trist and Voya were able to get into these spots and not get any kills, it still didn't create problems for Reckoning Esports. So much map control lets them do whatever they want. They have their lay of the land. They pick and choose their poison. And they control where the spike goes down. So many options available Reckoning Esports, and yet they woke up and chose violence. RVK instantly decapitated. He basically had no chance as the Paranoia and the Judge hit him both square in the face.
They're really just at this point abusing the Judge. On the attack, especially those double satchels. Now I understand why Trist took those. This man's double satchels are quite flawless. A really good cover fire. Even if the first man got taken down, they're completely going to be fine on the back of that. Once again, Sky and Reina, those 2 players towards the main. Not going to let anyone force back or try and even backstab them. The ramp is completely under control. It's on the lockdown. Tough to get out of that one. Rawfield spotted. A really good spray transfer. AZ's caught some bullets right to his dome. And his skull gets ripped apart, cracked open, call it whatever you want to call. A 2-on-4 as Antidote's not going to spot the man in the back, but it's a judge. Antidote taken down. He's scratched up. 42 HP. Rafael as well catches too much hurt, and they're going to die to the spike explosion.
OG had no chance going into this retake. The Blitzkrieg approach from Reckoning Esports got them the site control before the round even began, dude. Like, as soon as the barrier drops, they pounce into the site. With brute force, they take the site for themselves. They then leave Triss with the judge to its elbow, where it can be the most lethal tool in his arms. And the rest of Reckoning Esports just reinforce the A main lobby, making sure that OG can't climb down that ramp. It's a slippery slope leading straight to their deaths.
Reckoning Esports. Oh, really good. Trailblazer, man spotted instantly. The super flash combo as well to get the heaven control locked up. Aziz trying to turn the tide, but now he's also got a smoke in the front. So much visual denial being used from the opponents. OG, they don't know how to counter this, but they have got good positions, and that's why Reckoning Esports are going to accept that. But Flabbity's got the timing. Nicely done. A little distraction created in the back, in the vents, and then Deadly 10-2 catches a man lurking by, fading away. Reckoning Esports, in the end, it's a switch on the opposite side.
They're just pushing and pulling OG into these uncomfortable spots and making them over-rotate and overthink themselves to death. The ace execute faked causes the rotation, and that's when Deadly punishes the people who are exiting the site. And as soon as he clears up the B site, the spike teleports back from the shadows all the way to its B. And once again, Reckoning bamboozle their opponents. OG left scratching their heads. And sure, they can hit the sites, sure they can hit those headshots. But how many headshots can you hit before you are able to have that coherent thought in your head? Able to figure out what Reckoning are up to? It's gonna be too late by the time you're able to get that coherence. Clear out all those doubts, all those fears which are now burrowing deep into your minds. At the start of this first half, I said that OG did manage to get Reckoning out of their heads, but apparently I was dead wrong now, wasn't I?
Yeah. Reckoning Esports not really having the crowd, or not really having a lot of the crowd on their side, but whatever they have, it's still working out. And those guys are able to power the players inside the arena. A tactical timeout pulled out from OG, and the coach definitely seems a little disappointed. Makes sense too, man. 12-5 is the score, especially against a team like OG and Reckoning Esports, a team that is made through the lower brackets. A reality check.
A harsh reality check from Orangutan. Their comfortable and cushy lifestyle all the way through the upper bracket, not dropping a single map in the entire split 2, made them think that they are immune to all the dangers and the pitfalls. But a team like Reckoning, the wolves that have been forged in the flames of the lower bracket, having to keep their iron will steadfast through that passage that preyed upon the weak, have now found whatever they require. And they're making OG into a bunch of puppets, the strings attached to their arms and legs, making them dance to their will. Every single move that Reckoning is making OG over-rotate, and then Reckoning predict those rotations to punish OG in the middle of the transitions. The brain games are on a whole new level from the wolves this time.
Yeah.
And the apes might just have a new king of the jungle unless Tesseract says otherwise.
I mean, Tesseract, man, not scared at all. Actually pushes against the odd and still gets the value down. Triss taken care of. This was a man who was able to find so much early game information, and now once again RGE gonna strike their foot on the site. Good return pick though from the side of Rafael, and that's all he's gonna be able to find. But the return frag, even from the side of Reckoning Esports, they're quite dominant. Flabbing on the side, Hirsch.
No way!
From heaven, he actually gets 2 of his own, and now he's also giving away a lifeline. 1 more to go in the name of Tesseract. Not a lot of HP, softened up, and
no way!
At the same time, Reckoning Esports, they get the victory secured on the 3rd map of Split.
And they do it on the back of a 2 versus the world clutch. I really thought OG had that round in the bag. They stopped reckoning in their tracks. They stopped reckoning from transitioning over to the pillar. And then when Flabin was strapped, when he was down to the wire, in comes Harsh. Flying like a hero, he barrages his way through the B tower and drops into the site to rescue Flabin out of danger. Rescue Reckoning from that imminent loss of a round and straight into the next map.
Ooh, okay. Keep going.
That's called a heel toe.
Oh, man's got even moves, bro.
We always thought Flabin was the one with the moves, but then Voya says, hey, no, I've got the fancy footwork too. And speaking of footwork, you saw how Voya was able to dodge that tripwire that RVK had placed, right? Makes sense that if he's got moves in the game, he's gonna have moves in real life too.
And I cannot forget about that round. Fake after fake after fake. Man, just playing with OG's mind. Tough to know what's going on with Reckoning. But, ladies and gentlemen, one thing's for sure. Reckoning's feeling it right now. Third match secured. 2-1's the scoreline. One more to go if Reckoning want to seal the deal. It's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Came for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
But then surprise, surprise, Reckoning Esports were able to turn all of that into such an amazing opportunity. And just like that, they have taken the lead against OG in the series. A 13-5 victory in Split pushes us into map number 4, and now Bind has to be the place where OG make their stand.
And we're going to see the same composition once again. Reyna and Sky should be brought out by the players of Reckoning Esports. So far, we're seeing OG, of course, on their usual composition, the Raze, Jet, and then you're seeing the composition of Reyna and Sky. A double duelist from both the sides, but when it comes to the controller, you're also seeing double controller from Reckoning Esports. So this is quite an interesting lineup in general from them, so I really want to see how this one's going to work out, especially against OG. On paper, the lineup, the agent select that Reckoning Esports have, it should absolutely obliterate OG, but you never know what the firepower holds for us.
This amount of firepower that OG possesses is unreal, but in the previous map they were just simply unable to use it to its fullest potential. Reckoning Esports were distracting them, filling their minds with poison, making them think twice about every single move. Their thoughts cloudy, their vision convoluted, and maybe even distracted as well. Can OG find their composure, find the calm once again? I don't know about any of that, but Rovil can definitely find kills and get away with murder in cold blood.
Nicely done. And OG so far are able to start off with a big advantage. Good traits though, and AZ's once again springs back into the action. 2 taken, but an instant trade out once again from Voya. Gets himself back up to full HP. 1 out of 3. It is doable. It's all down to the clutch situation. Now OG should not really give him isolated duels. If that does happen, Voya will be in a good shoes. But no, it's not going to happen at all. OG, for the first time, they start things off on a great note on a pistol.
Well, these pistol rounds have been a problem for Ruji in the last few maps. And them winning the pistol now definitely will bolster their confidence. Probably even bolster the amount of advantage they get. And OG, if there's one thing that they're good at, is anti-eco rounds. They are not the kind of team that falls to sheriffs and pistols. I mean, that did happen to them in Fracture once, but I hope they probably won't have the same problems once again. Even the roles have been switched up. A double initiator picked up by OG. And we haven't seen the fade come out of this team too often, but we know it's capable of doing some great stuff. Oh my goodness, I speak about great stuff and I guess I jinxed him.
Oh, speak about jinx, and look at this! Aziz strikes 2 down, nicely done. The Marshal clicks in, and Trist with the classic Once again, bounce back. What's going on? This anti-eco that we thought might just work in the favor of OG. Instead, this time it's not really clicking in for them. But still, nothing can be said. One more to go. 3 players have been taken out from OG. So far, this anti-eco seems quite successful. But if they're also able to win this, it's going to be a cherry on top of the cake. The plan's not exactly for Flappin, but he needs to force himself out and get at least one opening kill. And he actually does so. Halfway taken, and now the defuse is being stopped, but not able to claim the last kill.
Imagine what would have happened if that plant actually was for him. If he didn't feel desperate enough to make that move, OG probably would have lost this round. And I'm really starting to doubt that I might just be cursing them. I spoke about OG not struggling in anti-ecos, and here they are, barely winning the round by the skin of their teeth. If it wasn't for Aziz and his heroics towards B Long and that Marshall just chiming in with all those skills, this round would have been gone.
Vandals and Phantoms on the board, but this time with the light armors. Reckoning Esports, they're going to invest into this one fully. Lear out as well. Once again, that similar combo with the Sky Flash and the Reyna Lear, but a little bit late on the Flash. That's the problem. Sky Flash not on the time, but Reckoning Esports is still okay. The walls of OG are not strong enough to hold them back. Vandal in the front of Antidote, but he does not want to give the sound cue away, but still it didn't matter. Trista's late lurk worked out perfectly for them. Good pick though. It's a return pick from their side too. Not able to find the connection yet, and RVK does actually, and what a clutch! The Sheriff King once again strike back into the action, and OG, they pull this one back in their hands. A way too close to comfort round, and RVK, he knows how big of a play he made, and you can see that smirk onto his face. Look at this in replay, dude. Wow.
Spike down A.
Just OG, man, straight up just reigning supreme onto the back of their firepower. But still, considering Reckoning Esports only had bought the light armors, they're still going to be okay after that loss. As Deadly 10's going to be the man with only a Sheriff in the hand, so he will need to find a lot of value with that gun, which is a tough one. But the Tasmanian Tiger spots one, and OG are able to find 2 instantly onto the back of that. Reckoning Esports so far, things falling apart for them, but Deadly in the front should be able to get this frag, but even he gets denied. Tesseract returns the frag onto Deadly, and now Hirsch looking to get the trade back, but Tesseract, it seems like in this map, he's starting to feel himself a 4-0 start. Definitely a match made in heaven. Or at least their stars being aligned, you can say that. 60 HP only in the hands of Flabbin. Molly out too from RVK. Tesseract with a Nightfall available, and considering it's just the last man from Reckoning Esports, Flabbin's not going to try to press harder. Instead, probably just go for the save and stay happy with what he's got in his hands. And this is the first time we've seen Reckoning Esports struggle initially. OG, I guess, considering Reckoning Esports, they played Bind twice in their previous 2 games, in their previous 2 best-of-3 series. OG have got enough amount of info to counter this team. But still, it's the starting phase of the game, so nothing much can be said just on the back of that one. And yeah, safe from Flabbin. Easily done. And OG, they scoop up another one in their favor. 40-0. A really good start. The supporters of OG indeed are quite happy, and you might as well will be, should be, as I'd like to say. There's a showstopper and a Nightfall in the hands of OG, and then on their opposition, they've got a Seekers and Orbital Strike. But considering they lost the previous round, they're going to go with Light Armors and Sheriff Santa Guardian. They're just looking for any of these weapons to find the taps on the skulls. That's what they're going to go for. Now, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of dry peeking from Reckoning Esports, and it should be done when you're going to find yourself in such a tricky spot.
Aziz pushing all the way in with the showstopper. At the same time, you've got RBK pushing hookah. He found the spike. How will Reckoning recover the spike now? I don't think they can. They've lost so much control. They boxed in towards B Long. They will have to hit some really nutty shots in order to break this crossfire. And RVK, he's already starting to hit some shots. Flabin lost a chunk of his HP. Will probably recover all this, but Frist can't survive. That's the spike under control of OG once again. Harsh can retaliate to some extent. There's no rescuing the spike. Voya finds himself at the mercy of all of OG's members. They're ripping them to shreds. And OG doing what they couldn't do in the previous map. Assert their dominance.
Reckoning. Flabin is still alive. Can be their saving grace. Good pick. That pixel's more than enough. And I guess once again a save should be called. And that's what's going to happen. Flabin's on the saving duty, man. This man's not getting a chance to get a lot of kills into his end squad. Unfortunate stuff. OG should realize the fact that now Flabin's probably going for a save. And yeah, he's got a good off angle. If OG decides to press and move on forward onto this side, Flabin should be greeted with a decent amount of kills. Oh my god, the spam finds it. Oh, dude, Flabin, feel bad.
OG really are starting to run away with the momentum over here now, aren't they? I mean, even if Reckoning Esports wanted to fight back in this round, how could they? How would they be able to make even a stand without their spike? Their kneecaps blown apart as they now crumble under the weight that OG are asserting on them. The dominance really felt. The resurgence from OG on a whole another level this time. I don't think they've had such a big lead in this entire series so far. Even in the first two maps, they were on the losing end of the first half. Always trailing by either 2 or 3 rounds. And I think this is the first time in this entire series they've acquired a 5-round lead. They must do their best to hold on to it as much as they can. They need a vice grip in their arms right now. Maybe in a vice grip around the throat of the Wolves.
Five to 0, dude. Crazy stuff. OG, as I said, finally able to start things off on a great note, and this is something they were looking for since such a long time, and now finally we're going to see Reckoning Esports back on their full loadouts. If you realize, Reckoning Esports are actually going for the light armor so many of the times in these rounds, man. Just utilizing that Fnatic strategy. I like the fact that Reckoning Esports is the only team that is able to adapt to all these foreign metas and utilize them to pretty nicely. And that's why they're the king of adaptations. But OG, once again, aggressive push. This is the classic OG. That's how they like to deal with things. But you see an instant change of pace as well. This time, Reckoning Esports adapting their opponents and letting them have the control. And now, Reckoning Esports will probably try to play together. Good flash and good kill. Tesseract, he's got 2 players to deal with. Too quick, though. And a return frag from AZs to once again return back the favor.
Oh, they're fighting at Fountain, and this Fountain will turn into that pours out blood. Even the ultimate has been committed by Flabin. It might just help them get the kills onto Antidote, but Aziz makes his way across, and it's still a 3v3. I think OG will be quite happy with this interaction. They deal with Voya, the problem man's out of the picture, and they have one less massive ultimate to worry about. And even after all of it, OG maintained quite a good amount of control over the map. Look at the positioning of Raw Fuel. He's all the way out of bats, so he should be the early warning system in case Reckoning fall back from this area. But in case Reckoning don't fall back, in case they continue pressing onwards towards B, the 2 players present over here are capable of holding things down. Cascade to lock across the right-hand side of the area, but RBK spams him down. It's all up to Aziz, and he's already hemorrhaging internally. Finally put out of his misery as Reckoning take control of the site.
Spike planted.
Raw Fuel. Yeah, he needs to drop his op. No other option. Cannot try to go for a 1-on-2 clutch with the operator. Cannot work that fast. Now isolating the duels is the only way to go. For Reckoning Esports to win this round, they need to play with unity. And that's what they're doing. Look at them. Both of the players are at the same spot in the same direction. Rafi looking to close the distance, but that double peek does not even come true while Triss just nails him down.
Here comes Reckoning. He's surging back, but they still have a long way to go. OG fighting so aggressively towards B main definitely made Reckoning Esports uncomfortable. And for the first time, Reckoning are feeling vulnerable. Actually, who am I kidding? Joke's on me. Reckoning have always felt vulnerable throughout this entire tournament. After all they've faced in the lower bracket, this probably wouldn't seem like much of a drawback for them. I'm pretty sure they can bounce back with this one. But look at the amount of ultimates invested. The Nightfall as well as the Orbital Strike, all of it is let loose, and now Tesseract, he makes a stand towards bat. Even Rawfuel strikes back with the Op, and while Rawfuel, he somehow gets back to safety towards Heaven, he at least will know that they have the man advantage. Flaven looking to plant in a dangerous spot. The Cove will keep him safe. But the Seekers, which were let loose by Antidote all that time ago, will now start to bite the members of Reckoning Esports.
Plants down. Post-plant situations looking good. OG need to breach in. They need to go or do some shenanigans. That's what they're doing. Good find though, as now they know that Hirsch is in the close quarters, but Hirsch also has got a backup firing squad, but he doesn't even need that. Single-handedly shuts one man down, nails him down the ground. Now RVK left all by himself, also flashed up. So much pressure to deal with. Finally RVK breaks out of that steel chain lock, but it's still not gonna matter, as RVK, being the last man alive, also ran out of time. He's got no other option than to back away.
OG doing really well. All the ultimates that they invested were used properly. It helped keep Reckoning Esports at bay. And while Reckoning were being held back from a shot via all these ultimates, Rawfuel and his operator was shutting down Bat. But still, Reckoning continued to push onwards. Despite the drawbacks, despite the number of people they lost, they're able to find their way into the site. And kill after kill after kill, they establish their dominance. They take those post plants, and they hold on to the U-Haul area with an iron grip. RVK can do his best Grim Reaper cosplay and try to dispatch them into the realms beyond, but it still won't happen in time. And Reckoning win their second round in a row. OG want to nip these problems in the bud. That's why they take this tactical timeout. They want to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. And now they're starting to realize that Reckoning also can be just as stubborn. Up until now, in the last few maps, Reckoning have always adjusted based on Orangutan's aggression. Whenever Orangutan are showcasing heavy presence or heavy aggression towards one side of the map, Reckoning give it up and hit elsewhere. But now, Orangutan have a rude surprise. Even after a whole operator and two big ultimates were thrown the way of Reckoning, they continue to push onwards rather than fall back towards another part of the map. And this isn't the kind of behavior Orangutan are used to seeing. Reckoning Esports now being stoic, being adamant. Not the kind of push that Reckoning have displayed in the past, and that's exactly why OG were left surprised. But that's not going to stop OG from playing aggressively. Rawfuel continues to push onwards. A barrage of utility exchanged from Bat as both the Prowler as well as the Trailblazer are thrown that way. But here it comes. RVK with a double. In one fell swoop, he strikes down Boya and Deadly, and just like that, the duelists are out of the picture.
Yeah, they try to create some space. They're trying to get the hookah control done. But I guess a little bit too much to ask for. Molotov's out as well, because they are still inside the dome, and finally now they're going to break their silence into an absolute chaos. Site control's there. Rawfuel, he found that little inch into the between the smokes, and he strikes one down. Still, Hirsch is alive. It's a 3-on-2. It's still doable. He cannot count the players of Reckoning Esports out just yet. Flabbins managed to sneak all the way deep in towards the elbow. And now, Antidote still holding down the elbow lines, but Flabbins too sharp with the aim. He strikes him down. It's a 2-on-2. It's balled down pretty well, but now Rawfuel once again pulls it back, and AZ cleans it up.
And that play that Rawfuel made in between the smokes, that was crucial. That got the spike down. And I wonder what this round would have looked like if the spike was not cut loose, if it was on the backs of one of those Reckoning players. They probably could have escaped. You could see the positioning of Hirsch. He was prepared to just dive into that teleporter and escape from that area if they were somehow able to recover the spike, but they just simply couldn't do it. backup options would have been available to Reckoning Esports if the spike was present, but Raw Fuel finds not only the timing, not only the gap, but also the perfect player to kill to put this round into a tailspin for Reckoning Esports. No, this time, look at Reckoning stoically pushing out a bat. Deadly and Harsh, all of them getting the opening kills.
Oh, wow.
OG stand no chance.
Player standing.
They just straight up lost all the duels. Stanvoya keeps on pressing the charges. Man has explored so much territory at this point that OG, they have been thrown away from their own house. And Drist looking to just keep on moving forward, but this time RVK sort of senses the fear, sort of senses the presence of his opponent. 104, RVK knows next to impossible. Might as well try to go for a save and play this one out safe and sound.
Define safe and sound, bro. I mean, OG felt quite safe and sound when they were holding their defaults. And I mean, in the past, OG have been able to repel the invaders, right? They have been able to stop Reckoning in their tracks. But now this just seems like a completely different Reckoning Esports. They just waltz into the side, winning all their duels. And they make it look easy while they're doing so. And it's not like it was a very convoluted push or something that they devised with very tactful nature or full of deceit. No. It's just straight up W key and mouse 1 from Reckoning Esports. 3 people pushing in via bat, 2 via a short. Goya uses the leer and he just simply peeks, man. Just simply peeks. You don't see that often. And this breaks OG and their economy.
How powerful is that flash combo? Look at the amount of information and the amount of control that they've gotten off the site so far. Another flash goes up, but this time from the back hits Rafuel knocking on the door, and he's also able to find 2 kills, but it's completely fine because Flamin and Deadly 10 has got things under control, and Deadly 10 with a 3K. He also secures it. Man, it's incredible how good this combo is. Reyna Lear, Sky Flash, instantly all the opponents forced back into cover, take the control, once again repeat the same combo on the backside, get the backside control too. What are you supposed to do when you're on the receiving end? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And OG thought that they would be safe behind the high tides. That's a natural assumption, right? Why would Reckoning Esports push ahead of their own high tide, push ahead of the area that they have cut off simply to plant? But Reckoning Esports are also thinking a step ahead. They push deeper and deeper into the site to make sure that OG don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have a place to start their retakes from. Once again, this time it's a similar approach, but the cascades have been used towards B long, while at the same time, Deadly and Boya are marking their presence on A shot. They're trying to lure OG into these fights, they're trying to bait them into the brawls, and that happens perfectly. RBK cannot adjust, neither can Antidote! And just like that, Deadly single-handedly liberates the U-Haul area. Rafuel continues to create problems over here as this operator can sing the songs of death, but now he's getting pinched from both the sides. He's trapped, he's cornered, and now he's buried 6 feet under.
Reckoning used, OG once again forced to fall back, and they've got no other choice than to respect it. Walks out of them all.
Really?
Tesseract, too much damage taken. Oh, Aziz, the last one to go. And now once again, he's got the showstopper, but 4 players ahead of him. Next to impossible to get anything done, and yeah, well, OG, it's just done at this point. This round cannot be secured at all. They've got too many players, and Reckoning Esports don't even need to give out peaks at all. They can just let Aziz stay there and save the gun if he wants.
Stubbornness gets him killed, but then again, it's not like OG have a lot of choices now. Last round and a half, and they have just enough money to put together some weapons. With pennies and pocket lint, they will acquire whatever it is that currency can buy. But they can't buy their wins. Reckoning Esports can't abide by their own rules. They've thrown discipline out of the window, and now they bring brute force to the table.
I've got your trail. Found one.
Oh, flashes on the back of that. Nightfall used to, and Deadly 10 solo, and yeah, it's going to be an even trade, even Steven things on both the sides. But Reckoning Esports, they've lost out on two of their players, and both of them are actually duelists, the space creators that can create space so quickly in less time. And now OG left on back of the antidote, but a really good orbital strike to once again deny the entry. Now it seems like OG's wall is uncrackable, and it seems like the roles are reversed. This time will be OG with the 7-5 first start.
Well, that's certainly a good start for OG, I guess. Leading the map at halftime. It's a privilege that OG have almost always had, but off late, they're being denied of it.
My ult's right here.
Harsh's position revealed.
One enemy remaining.
And RBK marking it. Not missing this time around. It's all up to Flap, and he starts off on the right note, but trading raw fuel is just a bit too difficult. And there you have it. OG find the lead once again.
Chance begin once again. They want to bring OG's morale back up, and it's sort of working too, as they have got an advantage this time. It's the first time where we've seen OG in the first half in an advantage. So that's definitely a good start that you can ask for if you're an OG fanboy. But still, as I said, it's always down to the second half pistol round. That's where it can be a massive decider. Ladies and gentlemen, the first half as it concludes, it definitely looks like a good start, but you never know, man. Reckoning Esports, their pistols have been looking on point. Even though OG, they were just able to win this pistol for the first time in the first half, there's still a lot of firsts over there. So you never know how the pressure is going to be subsiding for any of these teams. But for now, we're going to be taking a look at the break.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you wanna game.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z, or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back into the second half. This time, OG back in the driver's seat. They have 2 rounds lead for themselves. You cannot call it a cushion just yet, because this is where things can be flipped around. If Reckoning Esports, they win this pistol round, it can be a lifeline and a saving grace for them. That means this pistol round will be with a lot of pressure for Reckoning.
Here we go. OG kicking things off on a very aggressive note.
Smoke's down.
They don't care about the counter utility being thrown at them. Rafuel also stoically defending right outside of bat. And at least he's found that there's 2 players present to his bat because of all the utility that's thrown in. And this is OG's cue to start pressing the assault towards B. They dive out of hookah. Then the 10 dives out of the smoke, but just escapes in the nick of time. He will much rather regroup along with Voya. And Voya has an opportunity, but he had a lead in hand. And just like that, the opportunity's missed. Twist backs him up. The frenzy lets them get one more. But already the damage is done. How will Reckoning recover from this one? RBK, as he's just spray down in that area. The general vicinity is spammed with bullets, and Reckoning, they turn into Swiss cheese.
Chance begin once again, but yeah, this is really good news for OG considering they won this round. We talked about how much value this round holds in general, and Reckoning Esports not exactly able to strike on that opportunity. Losing out on that. Sort of, you can also call it a lifeline fading away from them.
Who do they think they are?
Back into the action.
Timing.
The swing of things, and yeah, speak about timing, and I guess he's gonna have a better one.
Okay then. Reckoning Esports are kind of like all over the place. I mean, sure, that aggro pushes towards A are getting them quite a lot of control, but they're losing the B side just as easily. And I'm starting to wonder if OG are gonna ever face this challenge, or will they continue to just go towards the other side of wherever Reckoning Esports push out.
One enemy.
This time OG doing the stuff that they almost always do on the bind attacking side, pushing in towards the defending spawn. The last time OG played on bind in the upper bracket, they had a similar problem. They were aggressing too deep into enemy territory on the attacking side, but at that time, their opponents were actually able to punish them. Reckoning, I'm not sure if they can do the same.
Keep up.
Sheriff full armors for OG. I mean, it's a bonus round for them, so they're not going to have the perfect buys, of course. But you can see on the B-Long side, once again, Sky and Reina playing together. These two are more than enough for gathering a lot of info and also to stop down an entire push. On the opposite side, on the B side, you've got three players. Trist, the Jet, Deadly 10. So things are looking pretty good. And okay, you can say. But instantly you see a rotation being pulled back as well, and that might just not be good news for them, and good opportunity for the players of OG to strike down the doors off the A side. So far they've managed to stroll quite deep in. U-Haul control established. Spike should go down as well, and instant teleporter was there, but Tesseract spotted.
Oh my goodness, he escapes. Straight up nopes out of that area. But hey, Reckoning still have the man advantage, and they have weapons. I think they can actually deal with this. They just need to move a little more quickly. OG maintaining control over U-Halt, and this is going to turn into a problem for Reckoning later on, but they're already sticking the defuse on the back of the scope, and all his teammates are acting like bodyguards. Reckoning Esports get the win. Finally, they deal with all the problems that OG are throwing at them. But this isn't the end of the line. There's still a long way to go, a long hill to climb.
Speak about the long hill, and yeah, crowd chanting once again, looking pretty good, man. Enjoying the energy so far. 9-6. Reckoning Esports really needed that round. Can be a momentum stopper too, but considering they had the guns advantage, that's what you're going to expect from that team. This is where things will be a little bit more closer.
Huh? I mean, this is as close as it's ever been. Even when we see one-sided starts to these sides, it doesn't really get too out of hand. Nice push out. Tesseract was playing anti-flash, but at least Rawfield's able to deal with that super flash combination. Warrior uses both his Leers to escape out of that area, and it's still a 4v4. While OG have taken control of B long, Reckoning Esports are already moving in very quickly. It's up to Warrior to somehow pluck him off midair. If only he was able to kill Aziz, he would have been able to dismiss back to safety as well. But that doesn't happen. Backstab from Reckoning, now inbound. Antidote to receive them, ready for the interception.
Perfect stuff, man. And OG once again, well, I guess they've got the momentum back in their favor. And if this series is a 5-mapper, even more interesting. But you can see the round started off with quite well stuff being put up from Reckoning Esports. I mean, in the post plans though, once again, OG being able to win that one. Things not quite working out or clicking that well, you can say. 4 rounds lead for OG, looking pretty good. Having that double digits on the board can definitely give them a lot of mental edge. But if OG, or if the Reckoning Esports, are able to hold their nerves with the gun, then things can be a little different.
(10-6), Orangutan. They have been using this strat quite consistently over here. And Reckoning also need to come up with some changes so far. Up until now, they take really good control outside of bat, but in the pistol round, Rawfuel figured out that this is gonna be a little pocket strat that Reckoning throw every now and then. Because Rawfuel in the pistol round spotted 3 players of Reckoning committing to bat, and this has been the case since the last 4 or 5 rounds. Now it's turning into a pattern that OG recognized, and in response to this, OG loved taking B long and control away from Reckoning Esports. I mean, this time it's not like Reckoning just let it go. They were actually using the Super Flash combo to defend that area really well, but still, OG were able to deal with the issues and continue pressing onwards, continue taking B control. So Reckoning really need to shake up the position that their players are holding. And you can instantly see the switch-ups. Up until now, Harsh and Voya were defending B long together, but now he's been reassigned to hookah. Even Deadly 10 is facing the hookah pushes rather than going towards bat. But OG recognized this. The moment they see that Reckoning Esports have changed up their positions or defaults, they changed their approach towards bat as well, and Trist caught with his pants down, looking at the watch while his teammates are nowhere close to pressure him. Voya tries to mark his way inside, and these kills are going so back and forth, but still Reckoning can't get anything done. They're losing the battles.
Sort of like Reckoning Esports not able to find that groove, and OG just able to run away with the momentum. That's all he can really say. And being more prepared on the map of Find in general. Chance going off for RVK. RVK really has stepped things up, man. And at least someone needs to step things up when teams having it's a rough time. And I guess it's the name of RVK. And now it just seems like the entire team of OG is able to swing back into the action and look good while doing so. There is a Reckoning and an Orbital Strike available to deny the site control, but Reckoning Esports instead, they're going to go for an aggressive take once again. The judge clicks in. Good shots, and Rawfuel shuts them both down. OG, within a blink of an eye, they've managed to swing things back once again in their favor in this round, and even the plant goes down.
The barrier drops and Reckoning Esports have been cut in half, and the judge continues to create problems, but Harsh deals with it swiftly and decisively. It doesn't end his problems though. While both the players of Reckoning Esports have their ultimates available, they probably won't help them now. The Seize binds them to the floor and Tesseract liberates them off their heads. Trist, so afraid to peek, so afraid to push out. Tesseract has 1 bullet in the chamber and he still won't back out of this fight.
What a round win, dude, for OG. And now we're going to also move on to the match point. As I said, this time it just seems like the script's being flipped over. Instead, it's OG doing it to Reckoning. 12-6 being the scoreline. And also Reckoning Esports having 3 other ultimates. There's a chance they can also win this round. Deadly 10, all he needs to do is find a little bit of opening frags, and that should change everything on the board. And that's what he's doing too, looking to go aggressive with the operator. If he's able to squeeze 1 kill right here, this can mean so much to the team, and that's what he does. The win condition strikes once again, but it's Rawfuel with the Blade Storm looking to turn the tide.
Oh no! He got lost in the soup, he tried to overextend a bit too much, and while the problem person has been dealt with, the AWP is out of the picture. OG are yet to make their way into the site. At least they've neutralized it back to a 2v2. And the Seekers, they give away the positions of remaining OG members, but they will still be able to plant. Unless they jump into the TP and instantly make Reckoning pivot as well. Now it's a race. OG will have to face them towards this defensive spawn entrance. And Harsh, he's looking to make his mark, but Antidote is sharper. Voya trades him through the woodworks. The spam is successful. And now the 2 duelists locked for the battle. OG looking to push this into yet another map. Reckoning looking to secure the win right here. But looks like the 5th map is inevitable.
It indeed is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the decider, which will be played on the map of Ascent. Both these teams have been proven out to be so good on that map, but this map of Pine, where Reckoning Esports, they have played in their recent 2 BO3 series, they have been countered pretty hard. And I guess the main reason of them being countered this hard is because Reckoning Esports look pretty strong on the map of Pine, and OG probably have got a lot of research done onto that. They played this map on their previous 2 BO3 series.
And yet, in all of those BO3 series, OG never looked so stubborn, never looked so adamant. They fixed all their mistakes. I mean, at one point you would feel like they would be overextending if you saw all their previous bind matches. No mistakes like that this time around. They also predict whatever Reckoning Esports are doing and just run circles around them. Picture perfect from OG. But we'll break all of this down with greater detail in the post-game segment. So don't go anywhere. We're going to cut to a short break and we'll be right back after that.
Came for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Let's get the show on the road, ladies and gentlemen. We've waited quite a long time for this matchup. OG have waited quite a long time to lift that trophy. As they are looking for ascension, Reckoning look for redemption. And after just one map, we will be crowning the best team of this nation. Ascent to end it all. And we will finally find a winner. Let's see who comes out on top.
Agent Select in front of us, ladies and gentlemen, as we've got Voya on the stage. Now, this is going to be the classic comp that they used in the past as well, where Voya will sort of try to fiddle around with the enemy's mind with a lot of conditioning and also some off-walls of the stage, which will have those little cracks that might just catch the opponents off guard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the decider map of the grand finals of the VCSA as we move on forward to the map of Ascent, the Icebreaker. We're going to kick things off with the pistol round with Reckoning Esports on the defense and OG on the attack. Make some noise! Chants are heard too. And OG's supporters are definitely quite vocal. And now this pistol round will begin too. Reckoning Esports starting things off this time. Quite safe, not pushing up from any side of the map. Instead, gonna let the opponents have the advantage. Sage wall right off the bat to block it off, so that means the A main take is going to be a little tough for the players of OG. And considering that OG haven't even given away a single foot queue, that means it's going to be tough for Reckoning Esports to know or realize where exactly the opponents are positioned. Now that the orb's taken away, they should have a little knowing that there was some presence outside main. And Deadly 10's gonna start to back off, but instead, it's the players of OG rerouting all the way from the tree area because main's blocked off with the wall. They need to get rid of Voya in the close quarters, and if Voya's not taken away, then problems will start to knock on the doors of the face of OG. They started moving the site, but a good shot from Tis to shut it down. A really good crossfire as well from Flabin and his teammate, and Flabin strikes back with 2 of his own. Glassing in the close will of course be quite devastating. The right click clicks in, but not able to find the kill just yet. A 3-on-1 scenario. AZ's only having 18 HP. And now every single player from OG has been taken away, and AZ's still looking to turn the tide, still looking to fight back. Only 6 HP, and he will not be able to do a lot.
Sheesh, this round almost came down to the wire. I really thought that after that flurry of kills, OG will be able to take control of the site, but Reckoning respond with such brutality and such tactfulness as well. They avoid all the danger of the initial skirmish, and they just keep peeking in and out of these fights. Of course, they had to throw bodies to this push. They had to commit numbers, and that was the only way to beat OG. But for now, the quick rotations from Reckoning Esports saved the day for them. Can they continue this fast-paced rotations again and again? Or will OG find a way to slow them down somehow? For now, the early information that the 0 point gives them calls in the rotations for Reckoning Esports, and the rotations are looking as such where they reinforce mid again and give up on the side rather than actually fighting back. Even Flabin, he's playing all the way from tree, but look at these kills from Deadly 10. He held his ground, he was patient, and now he's rewarded.
Oh, Hirsch has caught a bit of a hurt onto himself. But look at Raw Fuel from the back lines, looking to close on up. What a shot, Deadly 10. Straight up a haircut onto the player in the front, but Raw Fuel as well does the same thing. And now Voya's on the other side. Hopefully he doesn't catch a haircut himself, but yeah, instead he's going to be the one to hand out one with a ghost. And now Aziz looking to get the Sheriff back in hands, but no, actually he's going to stick to Classic. Just because he does not really want to give the sound cue, he goes back and drops the Classic in the back, and now he picks up the Sheriff. These little tricks that Aziz is trying to pull off, but I highly doubt it's going to end up working into his favor. But still, this could have been a little close. But Hirsch's movements got things under control.
He's got things under control. He's got it all in the bag. And Reckoning Esports, they go from bonus round to operator real quick. They want to speedrun this game. They don't want to have a bonus round where OG have a chance of fighting back.
Good stuff. 2-0.
Okay.
Reckoning Esports.
Never mind. He doesn't buy it. For a second in the freeze time, I saw it all being pulled out, and I thought, yeah, maybe they don't want to have this bonus of sorts. They just want to get the big guns out online quickly, but then they decide against it. And Reckoning Esports, it seems like it's going to be a regular old bonus round for them anyway, right? Which you have a chance of fighting back now. They start off towards B Link from Tiles, but then they group up and go towards the top of mid once again. Flabin, having not spotted anyone pressuring game in, gets curious and he gets rewarded for it. But the quick trade comes through, and he spotted so many of these OG players hurtling down this narrow corridor. The fragment is going to slow them down, hopefully buy enough time for the rest of Reckoning Esports to rotate in, but even that won't be enough.
What? Even though Man's Blind still finds that connection. Good one, though. 2-3. It is doable. Hirsch's Spectre needs to find at least some sort of a reply. The man's busy, though. He's looking into his drone, and Tesseract out of nowhere swings in from the back and gets a 4K. A really good stuff done. OG. What are these chants?
Bro, this is not a chant. This is a full-blown slogan. They might as well turn this into a poem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the times people struggle to coherently chant a single word, but then comes OG staff going for full-blown slogans, full-blown poetries as chants, and this really will start to dig deep into your minds. 4K for Tesseract, making him come very close to that Hunter's Fury, but he almost got that kill. Luckily the tiles aren't completely shattered yet, so the Odin won't find its mark just yet. But with 2 players position available now, OG now looks to push into its B. At least RVK's been cut down. This reduces the B crunch possibility down to 50%. Backup options being explored towards a shot, and Tesseract beats him to the punch before Hirsch can pull out the gun. Before he recovers from the drone animation, Tesseract responds. Look at Raw-Fuel though. So deep inside enemy lines. And there's nobody marking him. No gadgets. That's what happens when there's no Cypher or Killjoy available. Reckoning Esports will have to physically mark these areas. And Reckoning are about to lose control of the B site. Sure, Deadly is towards B main, and he might just have a couple of surprises up his sleeve, but he can't stop the plant.
Oh, wow. Raw Fuel. Good click onto Deadly 10's head, but Trist is there to trade things out, but Antidote's not expected. He finds Stu Bavoya once again. It's refrag after refrags. And now the slow orb utilized too. The plant's down, but no one's actually on the site. They've got a really nice crossfire setup. And wow, OG, they play this so well. That crossfire, I'm loving it.
Yeah, this is the most difficult crossfire to clear out. And sure, maybe if you had a controller alive, if there was a smoke present, you could have cut off at least B main. Just what most defending teams do while retaking the B site. But I love how OG are able to just find these gaps. They take control of B, leave Antidote all the way towards the bottom of mid to lurk up and cut rotations. And I thought Rafiel pushing in towards the bottom of mid might just let them cut rotations much more quickly. But OG are patient. At least they were patient in the last round. They aren't really patient now. They're pressing the assault. They're full W queuing in. Flash bounces back and somehow Harsh makes his way back to safety. Unfortunately, he's been cut off from his team and there's no backup available. He gets pressured, he gets killed. And all the suppressive utility keep Reckoning Esports at bay. Trish makes a bold move to jump out ahead of the fragment with the judge, only to be shot down. And Voya might just get spammed to death. He just makes it across.
Yeah, but still the problems continue to reign and knock the doors of Reckoning Esports. It's a 2-on-4. This sounds next to impossible to pull off. And considering it's such a good kill from Tesseract as well, it's going to put a little bit more pressure on Voya himself. He tried to pull out the slower, but the hands are quite busy, and RVK has got a good timing.
He's got perfect timing. I mean, these timing moments from OG are coming through a bit too often now. Especially now that we're in Ascent. I mean, we had some of these moments shine through in the maps of Fracture. We even saw a little bit of it in Haven all the way at the start of the series. But now we're just 5 rounds in and we've already seen this come to life 3 times. I wonder how many more of these instances do OG have in the store for us. Reckoning just recovering from their economic woes. They're able to afford the Odin once again, but this Odin will have to go absolute god mode if it wants to stop this push in from Rafiel. Oh, and Harsh gets tagged. Look at the push out from Deadly though. He wants to stop OG from getting into the sights. He wants to save Harsh, but he's capable enough of holding his own ground. The Odin continues to spam through, but eventually he'll be dealt with. Deadly pushes through the smoke. This timing is exactly what they were looking for. OG can't plant the spike yet. Their now priority turns into defending this retake which has begun before the spike even goes down. But the spam comes through and Voya almost got that kill onto Tesseract. They regroup, rearm themselves, and they're ready to re-hit. Strike while the iron's hot.
3-on-3, ladies and gentlemen. A really good scan though. They try to go for the spam through the wall, not able to find that sweet connection just yet.
Oh my god!
Right, that pre-fire around the corner. Able to shut down Voya within an instant. Only 73 HP left over. A 3-on-2. Now make it down to a 3-on-1. Deadly 10. Last glimmer of hope. He finds a good tap. And now he activates the Blitzstorm once again. But he dashes on the site. That's where he's got too many angles to take care of.
Sheesh. The impatience, the desperation from Reckoning Esports really palpable now. And they are starting to realize that the more they pressure OG into these Blitzkrieg executes, the harder it becomes for them. Keep in mind that up until now, the only reason OG were undefeated before the Grand Finals was because of these brute force executes. And they've gone back to doing what they do best. Blitzkrieging into sides and overwhelming their opponents with just brute force. The one win condition that rings true for OG continues to be of relevance now as well. And Rafiel is just untamed, unparalleled. Finally, Harsh stops his killing spree and Deadly has to make a brave peek out of the dark cover just to get another frag as well. But if he can reposition quickly enough, he might just be able to stop Antidote as well. Antidote sees the shoulder, takes his head, and Tesseract is taking the entire area for himself. Oh, finally there's some resurgence. Flabbing cutting the spike loose might just give them an opportunity. But Aziz is looking to punish Harsh before he can make a move. And he catches him with his pants down. Antidote has the classic teleport spike recovery methods available to him.
Flabbing moving forward.
Oh,
he's got a man waiting on the other side.
Third round in a row where the rotations from Reckoning Esports have been cut in half. OG are not just stopping them in their tracks, but they're literally bisecting the map.
These picks though, I mean, considering Aziz knew that he found the operator in the mid, he pretty much knew that it should also be up for grabs, and he does a perfect move too. A tactical timeout being called by Reckoning Esports. They know opponents being able to run away with back-to-back rounds, definitely not a good luck for them. So need to do something, need to switch something up. So let's see what switch up we're gonna see.
I think the biggest problem that Reckoning Esports have to address right now is their lack of information and the abundance of holes in their defense. Sure, the reason why Voya picks up the Sage is because he can pull off those one-trick Grim Walls. Sometimes he leaves those little gaps in the wall which allow him to get a couple of cheeky frags. But we haven't seen any of that yet. And because they go for the Sage instead of a Killjoy or a Cypher of sorts, there's always a gaping hole on mid which OG can exploit again and again and again. So many times have they managed to reach literally their enemy spawn without being detected. So that's the biggest concern that Reckoning Esports have right now. It's either this or keeping a player permanently positioned on mid or towards market to mark these angles physically, and that's a major commitment that Reckoning can't afford to make right now, especially not when OG are using the lack of numbers on sites to their advantage by blitzkirking in. Reckoning are doomed if they reinforce mid, doomed if they don't, and OG are exploiting this to their first potential. They then have to close this door down on market, which then acts like a mini alarm bot of sorts. But look at the positioning from Antidote. Flabin has been pushing out of OMEN quite often, and he's done this on every other round. That's exactly why Antidote's prepared to stop him when he does it again.
Deadly 10. Oh, he's gonna walk into anonymous territory, and he gets greeted with a lot of bullets to his dome. Second man not able to escape. Now it's a 3-on-5. Hirsch, Flabin, and Trist on one side, while the rest of the team on the opposition side is completely alive. Hirsch, though, finds a really good shot onto one of the players, but Tesseract's there to even things out. Now it's 1-on-4. Flabin, he's got too much work to do, and he's probably going to be so exhausted already. And yeah, this should be next to impossible to pull off at this point in time. Antidote still waiting for the flank angle. Flabin taking his time and exploring the areas and clearing stuff out, but Flabin doesn't know that there's a man in the main just waiting for him to peek out, and Antidote is dedicated. He's adamant to just peek out at that single spot, and that's what he's gonna do. Seals it.
And because of the elevation, Flabin can't even pre-fire or pre-aim that corner. OG running away with the lead this time, and they are making this look easy. Reckoning Esports have to be sweating bullets right now. The one time Reckoning Esports tried to reinforce mid by double pushing out of that area, they discovered, to their horror, that the area is already breached. One on pizza, one on market. Reckoning Esports face a crossfire in spots which aren't even supposed to have crossfires on. Oh my goodness, now this is scary. 0 points exchange on either side, and while there's a lot of information available to Brist, he will not be able to dodge the laser beams. The ultimate initiation carves a path for OG into the site, and once again they have absolutely no trouble getting in.
Oh my god, it's yeah, such a massive flank, trying to get away. Somehow he's still alive, but eventually the connection's gonna be there. Good shots and a spray, but as Reckoning Esports will need to respect the opponents, they're gonna start to fall back, respect the side take, and they've got no other option to do so as well. They will need to stick with the weapons that they've got so far to the upcoming round. Reckoning Esports just not able to stop OG breaching in the sites, and this is really now starting to be a massive point of concern. Maybe another tactical timeout's needed.
I mean, how many tactical timeouts will you even need to fix problems like these? These are inherent compositional problems. Something that you should have thought about before you faced OG in a map like this. Well, at least they get some consolation. A couple of exit frags. No, but they can't even keep their guns alive in the next round. So now, not only do they lose weapons, but they get the saving penalty as well. And this just makes things worse for them in terms of money. Reckoning Esports surviving on max loss bonus. They won the first 2 rounds of the game, but after that, they've struggled to make even an inch of progress in the right direction. Are they copying the Brazil chant? The World Cup Brazil chant and turning it into an OG chant?
They've been doing that since the start, dude.
I guess that's one way of saying that at some point OG will be world champions, huh?
Maybe.
Or at least that's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Why not? Stay positive, or as people like to say, be positive. But it's talking about being positive. Deadly 10's definitely getting a lot of positive value with that gun. And then the spam from Odin too. AZ soften up so much. And once again, the Odin's gonna strike down the players in the front. But it's only managed to find a lot of value through the damage, not exactly through the kills. Lockdown goes down as well, and that means Reckoning Esports are going to be forced to evacuate the entire premises.
I kind of feel like Trist activated the null command a bit too soon. Maybe it would have been appropriate if he waited a couple more seconds, but it doesn't matter. They're getting all the kills. RVK in a 1v5. He's got a hailstorm of players heading towards him.
Your duty is not over.
Even the resurrection is used so that they can carry the gun forward into the next round. Keep the economy healthy.
At least Reckoning Esports is able to get this round, right? And considering they really needed this round too, sort of like a momentum stopper. If they're able to make this first half into a 7-5, I would still consider a big W for Reckoning Esports.
Oh, but hold on, it's OG that take a tactical timeout. Maybe 7-5 is not something they can afford to have. They want to push this down all the way to 9-3.
One enemy remaining.
Maybe.
And yeah, Harsh changed up his positions. I mean, up until now, he was playing on the B site, which is understandable considering he's a SOA. They almost always do play on the B site. The Odin's supposed to spam down that B main area, but now he used it towards the A-shot tree region. The recon gave him a little bit of information, gets him a kill. The rest is done by his sixth sense. So by virtue of eliminating 2 Orangutan players, while the process of invasion was still underway for OG, while they still hadn't completely entered the site, Reckoning make things easier for themselves in the retake. But will they always be able to do something familiar? I mean, I guess holding behind the smokes that OG deploy and spamming through with the Odin, hoping to connect a kill, is a good way to get man advantage consistently, but will you be able to pull that off in every single round? I don't think so.
Right here.
Speak of that, in
Revealing area.
recon darts out in the mid. 0.2. Suppression's gonna be there. Oh, good shot. AZ strike down. And now OG already starting off with a man deficit. There is a flash available in the hands of the OMEN, as you'd like to call it, Paranoia, but Tesseract able to return back into his team's favor, but might just not be able to get the second one down. But now he proves me wrong instead, but still Deadly 10's on the opposite side, and unfortunately for OG, they've also dropped down the spike, something they cannot afford at all, and Hirsch now has also managed to cut off the entire side presence from OG. Now it's all down to RVK without anything established. This man has only got a Vandal and the tree area control, which is also going to decide to give up.
The only reason OG decided to go towards tree rather than go to the side directly is because they lost 2 members while doing so last time. So they think that maybe going towards tree will help their cause, but RVK suspects something on the other side. And he's got time, so he doesn't need to go for the plant right away. He knows he will be trapped the moment he taps that spike, so he's looking to get a kill before he commits to the plant. But no, he missed his opportunity, and now he missed his shots. Boya won't do the same, and he gets the 4th for his team.
Reckoning Esports so pumped. The fans are definitely, as I said, if they're able to make this series 7-5, I still consider that a big W. Because the way things started, the Reckoning Esports not able to put a stop to that reckless aggression OG was showing, but now sort of it seems like they've managed to find a little momentum breaker that they can strike on the back of.
Last round of the first half. 3 massive ultimates available at Reckoning's disposal. And a massive gun too. Deadly doesn't get detected by the 0 point, but now they find out where he is. And as soon as he pops the Blade Storm, the Null Command puts it back. Boya, it's been a while since he's used this wall, and OG are very careful around it. They know what dangers lie on the other side, but do they know what Deadly's up to? Ness, now they do. Lane 1 cut down. This forces them into the waiting arms of Deadly. Finally, as he spams him down, but the smoke expires at the worst time possible. Tesseract runs and guns into the face of Twist, and now he's carved a path for his team to go all the way to its defender spawn. Yes, Voya can hold down the Beast side, but Reckoning aren't even sure if that's where OG will go.
And OG, they've got no clue that Voya is there, but that last second scan gives it away. Voya, at least having that health orb, will be able to heal himself back up. Now RVK needs to take care of this traitor that's currently on the site. He peeks out, gets rid of him. Nicely done. OG, they've isolated the duel, and now it's a two on one. Flabin on the site, looking to regain the site control back in his hands. He's got a lot of util available, some visual denial, and also a flash of paranoia that can be used quite effectively. He knows there's a player in the back. He's gonna tank the damage, gets it all the way half done, but he's still got so much to deal with. Too many demons that he's gonna fight, and he does not even bother to peek out. He still stays in the back.
Switching sides.
Great recovery from Reckoning Esports. This was looking like a bleak round, but at least with an 8-4 half, Reckoning have some hope in the second half. Although, I must say, these guys are now feeling like they are back to their original form.
Speak about the original form. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, the first half is 8-4. Look, now OG, they've got a massive advantage. The similar half was seen even on the map of Fracture, where it was the roles reversed, where it was Reckoning Esports who had the advantage. But once again, you cannot just forget the fact that Fracture's the attacking side of map, and whichever team's going to be on the attack, things can happen. But what I'm trying to say by setting this example is that anything can happen. Doesn't matter if OG has a lead, Reckoning Esports can still bounce back on the back of that pistol round. So as I said, once again, it's all down to this pistol round, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to push to a short break, and we'll be right back with the second half.
Came for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to get.
The all-new OMEN 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The OMEN 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20N line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z, or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I nick or cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Came for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the second half of VCSA. This is the decider map, and Ascent has been so far in the way of OG. They have been looking pretty good, and the momentum is in their favor too. The wind is in their sails, but the tides can be turned at the last moment by Reckoning by winning this pistol round.
And Reckoning, they had a very good start in this series by winning the first 3 pistols. However, now it's starting to be more of a problem. One half separates us and the potential winners. We will be crowning the one team that goes to Ascension from South Asia. And we will be finding out who that is very, very soon. A slow creep up by Reckoning. They avoid the recon dart as well, although one of them gets revealed, and now the rest of them are also slowly coming to light. Tesseract backs away though. He knows there's way too much heat coming towards him. He decides to somehow retreat, but nope, it won't help him at all. Raw fuel also only good for one, and RBK gets caught looking in the wrong direction in hopes of breaking that recon. The barrier rob stops Aziz and Antidote from rotating through, slowing them down to a crawl as Reckoning win all the brawls.
Crawl and brawl indeed. But finally they're gonna break free out of that wall. And now, this is where the real retake starts. OG with only 2 players, not a lot of utilities. They've got 2 flashes available, counting Omens in 2. Paranoia used already to clear out the site. But still, they aren't able to exactly step foot in the main site, in the main land of the site where the spike's planted, and everyone from Reckoning's just playing so disciplined. No one's peeking out, no one's deciding to give any sort of isolated duels to the players in the front, making sure that they're not going to be making any mistakes, and as soon as they decide to step out, it's OG on the other side just waiting for them. And well, I guess one after the other, everyone's going to get picked up.
Everyone gets picked up, everyone gets smashed out. OG are able to get quite a lot of kills, but not fast enough. And RGE, by virtue of winning the pistol round, give themselves a glimmer of hope. Will OG let this little glimmer flourish? Will they let it shine, or will they extinguish it before it catches fire? Anti-ecos. While I said at the start of this series that OG haven't had any trouble in anti-ecos, that statement kinda did not age well now, did it?
Revealing area.
Oh, Sheriff available. Oh, the timing though. Because of the smoke, Glaben's going to be able to cross on to the opposite side successfully enough. Good recon dart though. Position compromised. And as Rawfield's going to decide to fall back, it's Reckoning Esports actually. That was a complete false presence towards B. They're on the opposite side already. Side control established. Woya also gets his wall up, so breaching through the door is going to be next to impossible. There will be 2 layers to break down. Deadly 10 with the Spectre really close in the front on their faces. So that means they've also got the Heaven control secured so far.
Exactly. Deadly 10 holding Heaven, making sure nobody comes into this area, while the tree area is secured by a double wall. First the breakable door and then the barrier rob. I guess a flank can help their cause, but RBK has also been detected on the back lines. Oh, and even the shorty won't help him do anything. Deadly 10 running to his opponents, making them run out of the server. 4 kills secured by him, and this should help him farm up his Blaze Storm quite quickly.
Finally being able to win those 2 rounds, the anti-eco 2 and now the pistol round. Sort of the lead has been a little less. And now OG too, looking at the scoreline, this should not give them a lot of confidence anymore. Because if Reckoning Esports is able to win this bonus round, the tides are completely flipped. You can consider that.
Scanning ahead.
And Reckoning Esports, they're on the attack, so they really need to just straight up breach in. And with the amount of weaponry that they've got, they need a W key, and that's what they're doing. Mid control established, but Deadly 10, that could have been their win condition, was not able to get anything done, but still Trist is able to find one.
Oh my goodness, Tesseract inside the smoke, the Dweller in the Darkness finally emerges, and Raw Fuel will converge all of his opponents' heads onto his crosshair. Sheesh.
Wow.
The cheering squad really is just boundless. So full of energy, so pumped up. 5 whole maps later, they haven't lost their voice, and I'm pretty sure they're screaming harder than we are.
Probably are. But yeah, we talked about this bonus round.
Hold on. Sorry to cut you off. Look at the setup though. The double pizza setup. This is a bait and switch which OG have used many times in the past. And it's gonna be up to Rockfield to just really sell it. Oh my goodness. His health's reduced down to 11 before he can even peek, but he still is able to get a kill and get away.
That
wow.
is just That is unbelievable. Being able to being just taken down 11 HP, still gets that kill, and look at Flabin only with 1 HP alive. Don't even know how that is possible, but yeah, he is indeed.
Oh my
Deadly
goodness.
10 able to shut down Raw Fuel 2. Now this is easy site take in their hands. 2 on 4 seems next to impossible to counter as Flabin's back up to 100 HP once again. Yeah, things not really gonna work out for them inside this round. This was supposed to be their true test, considering both the teams had the better weaponry, had the superior weaponry, but Voya strikes the man down in the front once again, and now it's all down to RVK. This man has been able to prove quite valuable so far for OG, but will he be able to prove himself valuable inside a clutch situation like this? 1 on 4, too many angles to check.
The odds stacked against him. He knows that he's got more HP than any of them, but Reckoning Esports leave nothing to chance. OG really got betrayed by the weapons, right? So many dinks come through, but yet not enough kills. Somehow, Rawfuel's able to get a kill on 11 HP. He got cut down to 11 before he even saw his opponent. But then he dinks Voya. Flabin also was on 1 HP. Both Flabin and Voya end up surviving on 1 single point of health. At least Flabin got healed up by Voya later on, but man, I can't help but imagine what would have happened if OG were able to convert all those dinks into actual kills. But hey, by virtue of winning this round, Reckoning can keep the series a lot more entertaining, a lot more competitive. So much closer.
Oh my god.
Revealed, needs to get out, but at least he's not being pushed away, right? At least he's not being pushed right now, so he can continue to stay safe. But OG here, Reckoning Esports fall back, and now they're prepared for this B hit. Rawfuel is prepared to take some heads off.
The micro adjustment into the aim, perfectly done, and now this wall too to catch the players off guard in the front. Voya, he gets rid of both the players. Aziz tries to make a sneaky play, but he gets deactivated. Way too close for comfort Tesseract was. But even he gets deactivated, and now the spike goes down. Antidote, the last man left to life, the last one on the naughty list, and he should be caught on the investigation too.
Investigate this! Double peek comes out. They 3-2-1 swing him. Voya gets the elevation, gets the double, and then gets the resurrection. So many heroics, and he waited all this time to unleash that play. Reckoning were aware that OG will catch on to this readjustment. They knew that OG will beat them in the race when it comes to getting the rotations towards B-side on time. And they also knew that they wouldn't peek them once again after Rawfuel got that first kill. So while they were scurrying for cover towards the backside, Voya uses the wall at the perfect time to catch 2 off guard. Oh, and this is going to be a fast one. Reckoning Esports are being held back by the Fragment and the Paranoias. All of these just holding them back. But the elevation wall doesn't get them a kill. At least the trades come through. Antidote though, he's spraying everybody down as he speaks ahead of the smoke, and he strikes twice! OG win 10!
That timing from Aziz was immaculate. He realized that the door's closing, so there's a chance that the opponents now are going to be distracted, considering they probably think that the door's closed down, so there's no way anyone's going to be able to breach in. But Aziz already sneaks in as soon as the door was triggered. And look at this timing. Yeah. The entirety of Reckoning Esports just gets caught off guard by that one single play from Aziz, where he's able to strike down 2. Almost could have got the third one too, but it was stolen away from him. But it's okay. Tactical timeout from Reckoning Esports.
And that was all because of the communication that Aziz and Antidote had with each other. Antidote knew he was cornered over there. As soon as he got that first kill towards Generator, he knew he was going to get pinched. He also knew that Reckoning Esports will swing towards the left-hand side to press that button and then maybe even kill him in the process. And that's exactly what Aziz was waiting for. As soon as they started to fire towards Antidote, as soon as the bullets started to exit the chambers of Reckoning's guns and started to hit Antidote towards Gen, Aziz peeked out. None of the opponents looking his way. Distracted, discombobulated, and eventually destroyed. OG played that round to perfection.
A lot of diss in that. But no ultimates on both the sides. Yeah, OG do have From the Shadows up, but the only effective way for that's going to be either an expensive recon, which recently we are not really seeing it being used that way, or mainly can also be for quick rotation onto the opposite side. But let's see how Reckoning Esports are going to be able to kick things off, and that's where it's going to decide how the ultimate's going to be used. Twist goes for the point. He also actually gets it. He'll be able to get his hands on the null command, but what a flick from Tesseract. Trist loses his head, and Tesseract also manages to go all the way in the back, but there's Rafiel waiting with the operator, and Voya gets dealt with.
That null command was supposed to be the win condition for Reckoning Esports. And now, the only condition they survive is by getting the kills, and none of this is going their way. Not only do OG win the round, but they keep all their guns active. A flawless round. And this might just break the bank for Reckoning Esports. This could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. No, never mind. Reckoning actually have a decent amount of money. So my math is terrible. But so is the position that Reckoning are trapped in.
8-11, ladies and gentlemen. Double digits for OG. One more round needed for map point. And also the series point. These are the grand finals. We're here to decide which team will represent India in Ascension. And OG is the closest so far. Oh, flick miss from Rafiel. Gives away another lifeline, but as soon as I say that, Tesseract's there to steal it away.
If not Rafiel, then Tesseract. If not the market operator, then the follow-up. OG have so many layers to display. So many people ready to defend mid at a moment's notice. And the rotations are also already inbound. They recognize that Reckoning cannot execute the mid plus B crunch anymore. There's barely any choice left in the hands of Reckoning but to go towards 3. And that's exactly why Aziz has also rotated over here. The 0 point will confirm his suspicions. They now know that there is no choice but to go all the way in. And Twist, having saved his null command from the previous round, won't get to use it to its fullest extent even now. Voya scurrying towards the B site. Somehow Flabins managed to get this site vacant. So Reckoning can at least go for the plant. But OG have so many ultimates to facilitate the retake.
Look at Flabin on top of the wall. Definitely an off angle. No one's going to be expecting this man to be in that position. Considering Flabin has an off angle, I'm expecting he should be at least able to get 1 kill on the back of that position. Aziz walking in from main. If Aziz is dealt with, that's going to be a big threat neutralized. And no, it's going to be the answer. Instead, it was Voya trying to catch Aziz, but Aziz is ready. And a good flick onto the Flabin to shut him down too. Ladies and gentlemen, map point secured by OG. A step closer to Ascension. And that $35,000 too. You can see the fans, they're quite excited.
Voya tried to make that play. It's just simply not happening today. OG are in the groove. They jump into the fray and they take it all for themselves. 1 round separates them and the trophy of VCSA. 1 round separates them and the flight tickets to Bangkok, where they will fight the finest teams in Pacific for the trophy of Ascension and potentially a slot in the International League as well. The world is their oyster and they are diving deep inside to get the pearls.
No command up for the opponents. Reckoning Esports, everything on the line for them. Only one way left now. Do or die trying. And that's what they're gonna do. Hunter's Fury used. Antidote still in the backside. This is where the entire burst comes into play once again. And it's the OG's meat grinder. Last man left alive. It's Flabin. And well, I guess OG, they're gonna secure the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got our split 2 winners in the name of OG. They've got quite a flawless run so far in the split 2, but in the grand finals, it was still a close affair. They are going to be the team to represent India on the international stages in the Thailand in Ascension.
Orangutan are going to Thailand. They keep their flag flying high. A flawless split 2 up until now, stumbling only in 2 maps in the grand finals as Reckoning proved to be a worthy opponent. They push OG to their limits, but in the end they emerge victorious regardless. The apes are here to take over not just the jungle, but also the world. But for now, they will be taking this trophy home. You still have to give credit to Reckoning Esports the only team in Split 2 who gave OG a run for their money, made them work hard for this trophy.
What a game it was, dude. Reckoning and OG both made it look so competitive, especially Reckoning, yeah, as you said, a team that hasn't been even, or that didn't even drop a single map in the entire playoffs, in the entire Split 2. Reckoning Esports make them bow in front of them, but in the end, it's still OG who take care of Reckoning Esports and win it in the final moment where it matters the most. Firm handshakes from both the sides.
The magnitude of this will be felt across the continent as OG now possess the tickets to go to the bigger leagues. Through all the trials and tribulations, through all the criticism and all the hardships they persevere through.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to look at the prize distribution and the entire after game segment, you guys will need to head on to the local channels. But for now,
same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only family, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we